Okay, maybe that build will do it.
To improve the all-electric Subaru Solterra, we went back and made it go farther. Charge.
Motherfucker. There we go. We call this the scuffed stream. I think.
It says cashback on every purchase. What's cashback?
It's new. Buy what
You people tell me how audio sounds, and then I'll do the analytical stuff and whatnot afterwards. Do I have my pen? Fuck yeah, I do.
As you wish. As you wish.
Okay. Can somebody confirm with me how I sound?
I'll be fuddling.
You don't have the heart for this. The warrior's spirit is never broken.
Okay. I think audio's good. I think audio's all right. I just heard myself echo. Fantastic. I don't have the super cool assets set up, so we're gonna work with what we got. Okay. Icathia versus Camavor. We have Icathia on the left. Let's see. My pen out. All right, let's see. How did draft go? So it looks like we first picked a Nami, and we responded immediately with MF Blitz. Okay. They want to go for these kill lane. I kind of wish that this was a more aggressive selection. I mean, the Lucian is gone over here. So that would have been kind of nice for that to be a little bit more aggressive on the selection. But I mean, Blitzcrank is as aggressive as you're going to get. We're waiting for spectator delay right now as we speak, which is nice, just to show you guys. Okay. What else is going on here? And then on 2-3, we went Nunu, Yasuo. So this is a nice little core right here, I guess, in a sense. You're giving Yasuo the knockup from the Nunu snowball, and you're getting knockup as well from the Nami. Big team fight potential, and then we respond to the Yasuo with the Malzahar, which is kind of a classic, very easy solution to pick, since, you know, you can't really win wall anything that Malzahar is throwing at you, nothing significant at least. And obviously, you have the amazing R button from Malzahar. We follow that up with the Xin ban. So Xin was open, it looks like, and was not taken. We opted, I assume this is a jungle window. No, this is a jungle brand. No. What? Oh. It's Yasuo Nami bottom. Interesting. That's always fun. Nami bubble being a very unique kind of stun, where her bubble actually is also considered a suspension, and Yasuo can actually ult off of that. That's always fun to do. And then you have Olaf and Bessa on the other side. Olaf, I assume, red side. Olaf was picked first, and Bessa in response to the Mundo. And Bessa, notorious for fighting these more tanky top laners, usually is used as an answer for the likes of Sion, and at least in professional play, so it makes sense to bring it out here. Although she does not have a clean way of knocking off the passive, and neither does the Olaf, so I actually can't imagine it's going to be a top-sided focus game. I kind of expect this to be more of a maybe focus on the bottom side, kind of vibe. Yeah, I think that would be like the move that Camavor is probably going to be looking at. A consideration there would be splitting the map vertically, weak siding your top side because it's not like Ambessa's really going to need all that much help. And the gank coming from the Olaf and Mundo are still pretty good. You can chain the slows together with the Olaf axis to be able to keep up with him, but with no real way to lock him down, maybe he'll be able to walk away scot-free. Who knows? It's really going to depend, since the long lane situation makes it really easy to chase if the Mundo over pushes against the Ambessa. So it's actually a Brand Malzahar matchup, I think. That's going to be fun. I think the Brand dot bounce should, with the E, should knock out all of the little guys in one go. So this is gonna be a fun one. Team fighting. I think positionally speaking, I like the idea that Icathia got. You got big AoEs, very easy to throw out a Brand ult, Nami wave going across the entire enemy team makes it kind of tricky to fight. Nami wave often used to do these zoning for your team fight, really controls the pacing of the fight. Makes it really hard to follow through with any kind of engagements, especially when the Ambessa ults through to get to the other side. If the Nami times the ult right, it's going to be really, really hard to follow that, depending on where they are in the map as well. And what else is going on? Since I just jumped in this, I mean, Olaf can bust through the Nami thing, but the other two champions do run into a little bit of a harder time. Malzahar has a hard time following. Blitzcrank can have issues following, especially with the self slow if he does not time his W correctly. And a Misfortune, obviously, also really, really immobile. So this Nami wave will completely split the fight between this, these two, and then these three are going to be together in the fight. So let's keep that in mind moving forward. Let's do all the necessary stuff. Sure. I try to... It's good. Hodge timers. Time control gone. Cool beans. And then we'll do this. Do that. Alright. Dance in the mid lane. Can't imagine. Let's see how the wards are going to be going out of the situation here. We have ourselves a ward here for, I believe this is Icathia. Let me get the correct thing over there. Because I told you this is going to be scuffed. While I jump into this. Let's move this here so I can see that better.
Minions have spawned.
Icathia blue side, Camavor on red side. Visions on the entrances. Simple stuff. Nothing super crazy. Looks like we're going to do a top-down clear. This is kind of what I said. Top-down clear. They probably don't really need to try to do anything too much to the Mundo. Ambessa is probably going to handle the Mundo entirely on her own. And we're going to look to put pressure in the bottom lane, get some Misfortune ahead. It is a Brand Nami bottom lane. I was wrong. It's not Yasuo mid, or Yasuo bottom. So this matchup does become the Yasuo versus Malzahar matchup, where Malzahar will apply his dots and be really boring about it. Brand Nami, kind of a classic. Oh, I don't have the thumbnail names on. 1 second. That way. Oh no, it's because I have streamer mode. Shoot. See, I knew there's something was gonna be scuffed with this. And I don't think I can exit streamer mode like this. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, here we go. There we go. Fantastic. All right, we got combo in the top lane versus Agent Full. Agent Full got the initial push. Combo already below half health, like doing some early trading. That's Sua and Kapula over here with the Brand Nami. Daddy's working, wait for it, right here in the middle lane with their Brand Malzahar, or Yasuo Malzahar matchup, and you got Sevelin as well. Let me get this adjusted. So much scuffness. Okay. It's gonna look better in game 2. short trades with the mid lane. Malzahar running completely out of mana here. Maybe we need to relax on pressing E, as the initial levels of Malzahar E does practically 0 damage. And he should focus on controlling the wave better here. With no mana, Yasuo should be able to handle that lane now moving forward. Looking forward for that level 3, gets hooked. Malzahar completes the stun onto the Misfortune. Nami follow up with the bubble. DJ Parmesan getting dangerously low. No commitment on the kill. Some trades in the top lane. We have Olaf coming down into the bottom lane. Please direct the camera go here. Here comes Evelyn committing to the gank. W connects. Misfortune slow comes down. The stun connects. Grand passive triggering. Big shield from the Olaf W. Gets to walk away. That's really poked out. Nuna's gonna make an attempt to look into the jungle here, but looks like he's gonna go against his wishes there as he realizes that it was a top-down clear. Yeah, so making the engagement here, finding Evelyn in the jungle, getting low, committing to the flash. Olaf shield just to delay a little bit more time. Being patient on Q3. Q3 lands. That comes to the kill. We got the rest of Camavor here now. Daddy's working in a little bit of trouble. No flash. Trying to see what else he can find. Manny has also arrived. Trying to see what they can complete here. He also goes down to the Misfortune, and that's a 1-for-1 trade. Golds are even. Jungler being down. Evelyn coming right out the gates. Immediately going to the top side. Gonna redo his clear. Yeah, Nuno's gonna be a little bit behind. Since home guards versus death guards, and he has to spend the time to actually recall combo, getting a little low up here in the top lane. Keep an eye on this Ambessa level up that's happening in about a minute and a half here. As at 6, she could just kind of full send it. Working back into lane, not really missing much thanks to early death guards. Combo getting really low, kind of poking himself out, throwing a lot of these Qs out, not really finding the connection to regain the mana or the HP back. Oh, and we have a pause. Triple J lag. I have the pencil as a mouse sometimes because I like to draw. Teehee. So while they're doing this pause, let's look at some states here. So right now, bot lane only ever so slightly ahead on Misfortune, favored with this this serrated Dirk is going to go a long way until Brand decides if he wants to get any kind of armor to counteract the situation. We have Boots and Amplifying Tome. Boots is a good idea to help deal with the Blitzcrank shenanigans. This reclear is going to find its way down here. They're kind of opposite on clears. He's going to want to clear this way, and Nuna's going to want to clear this way. And then we're going to have to consider this dragon coming up here. This is going to happen. Oh, on pause is ready to go. Teleport being committed to the top lane, so that we won't see him for any kind of dragon fight. Oh, and Spectate has destroyed itself. That's why, yes, I can't draw my screen. That's why I have the thing. Come back to me, spectator mode. And the spectator mode is back. Just kind of fixes itself. Bubble of Mirage going for the hook, finds it on the Brand. Brand has flash, has ghost, lands the bubble on Misfortune. Camera has decided no longer any concern. Combo up on HP here. Jaboy Bunny getting a little too close for comfort here. This could be a tower dive. Combo does not commit to it. It's called Epic Pen. Nice Q bounce off of Misfortune. It's gonna hurt for a bit if she can find a couple more of those, but we have the Nami sustain to counteract that. Jaboy Money still staying on the map here. 33 CS in, still hasn't committed a TP back. Both level 6. This could be dangerous as we have Nunu coming up here. Manny going in for the dive. Might have shown himself a little too early, but this could still be a dive. Please direct the camera go that way. Alright, let's see how they can handle this. Cardinal combo is very, very low on the HP, but using his ultimate, he should be able to regen a lot of HP here. How are they going to do this tower tank? Dragon's being taken in the background. Jaboy Money misses the vessel. Public institutions. Let's find his way. Oh, man, he almost loses himself into the tower. A bit of a miscommunication. Just assume on who's going to be tanking the tower. Thing. Very lucky for Icathia to not have gotten hit by that vessel. Otherwise, that could have been a flip. Jaboy Money still committing to the fight here. Combo tries to ghost out. Flash to commit to The chase, still unable to kill here. Malzahar ult happening in the middle lane. A little bit of a nothing trade here in the middle lane, but we have Combo completely low on HP. I can't imagine he's going to live any longer. Oh no, he's not going to be able to find him, man. He's rolling in, finds a knock-up onto the Mbessa. Mbessa tries to see if they can get the trade, finds a trade onto Combo anyway, as they tried each other 1-for-1. We got the good old 10-item Ornn build over here, double Giant Slayer. Cthulhu gets herself caught with the Blitzcrank hook, has to flash over the wall. Very lucky she found herself the correct flash over that wall. Sometimes I've seen people completely mess that up. It's a very chunky wall. Sua finds the stun, lands a 3-hit passive onto Buffalo Barrage. Nice little step back to make sure the bounce doesn't hit to Cthulhu so that their side of the health bars doesn't take any more additional damage than they need to be. Good poke into Buffalo Barrage. Oh, and she finds herself a nice crit bounce onto Cthulhu anyway. Here comes the very obnoxious pushing from Brand. Level 6 has hit. Let's see, are they going to commit to any kind of kill here, or are they just going to take the recall? Looks like they're going to take the recall. Turtle Combo fighting in the giant minion wave, losing a lot of HP just from these minions. We have to really respect the amount of Mbessa damage that's going to come out here, especially post 6 now that she has Omnivamp as a passive, and she gets so much damage with her Q dealing % health and getting all of that health back. So, but if she takes a bunch more of these, I want to call them cleavers, but they're technically little chairs. Or actually, he cycles through them in this skin. This skin is really cool. Cycles through a bunch of different weapons. Nice little poke here. Some lull in the situation. We're looking ourselves to the top side. Looks like Icathia is going to have strong control over this Grubs. No contest necessary as Olaf is down towards the bottom side. I wonder if they knew that. It's a good guess, considering they've been opposite clearing with each other, so probably a good guess that they can move it up here, but they drag Cthulhu up here anyway, so they secure the Grubs there. I believe Heat is now 1-to-1. One Dragon onto Camavor and one for the triple Void Grub on the side of Icathia. Icathia being great on this too, because the the Windows split push is gonna be really, really strong with the grub buff here. 3 people under Sua's tower. Very confident, still standing under his tower here. As long as he doesn't get hooked, this should be pretty easy. Mage bottom, usually pretty safe from these kinds of things, just because they can clear these waves really quickly and get themselves out of trouble. Little hook attempt to make sure that DJ Parmesan can get that minion and doesn't lose it to the cannon. Very good. Great support move. And there's still a whole lot of nothing in the mid lane. Although, if we look at the CS differences here, mid lane's got a pretty hefty lead. Oh, an ult attempt onto Colonel Combo here, but I imagine this is just going to be a very easy kill for Triple J Money here. Mundo using the ult at very low HP, making that regeneration really, really high. A whole lot of nothing happens again. The re-engage happens now that Mundo ult has ended. I think as long as the Boy J Money over here just plays these fights very skirmishy, very in and out, he's just always going to come up ahead with all the percent damage. So we have ourselves a gank from Sevelin coming in from the top lane here. He is on vision. Yeah, he was on vision, so that gank is not going to really amount to anything here. I think they could have maybe committed top lane brawling so much that they are not about it on the CS. Nunu, surprisingly, the highest CS count of the entire current team, and almost in the entire game, really, only to be beat by the mid laner. But this is going to be an interesting situation, since this guy will never die on his own to Yasuo. Yasuo can only really kill himself if he decides to against the Malzahar. Here comes the Malzahar. Gank from bottom lane, both Buffalo Barrage and DJ Parmesan coming in. Blitzcrank ult used to try to shatter the shield. Silence. Attempt to use the ult out, but there's just so many people in the middle lane. 4 champions are going to walk right into Manny here, but they see him on vision. Small fight in the top lane. They're going to chase him out. There's nothing to really fight for. They're keeping the bottom laner out from being able to get back to their lane, at least safely. Manny's rolling in. A lot of confidence. This is rolling. Well, still does have ult. They're putting themselves in kind of a pinch situation, but the last going away, it looks like they're half in, half out. Malzahar TP's back into lane just to be present for this dragon fight upcoming. Yasuo just now spawned, running immediately from base all the way over. He looks like he's pathing through the jungle. I think this might be his idea here. I think I would have preferred it if he had met his teammates from the bottom side of the map instead, as that would have been a lot of a better angle. And at the same time, there's a skirmish happening here in the top lane. Your boy J Money once again getting poked out. Icathia firm inside the thing. Your boy J Money getting extremely. Oh my gosh, one more cleaver. Will he find the cleaver right here? Oh, your boy J Money takes the opportunity to try to fight, gets absolutely slapped up. Dragon gets taken on the other side of the map. Misfortune ult going across, hitting the Olaf. Nunu ult going a little wide. Daddy's working, flashing in, trying to get the combo into DJ Permashot. DJ Permashot flashes in to get the kill. Gets knocked up. Completes with the Yasuo ult kill. Using the minions to dash around. Oh, the dot is really hurting. Is he gonna die? Oh, no, it's still enough to kill him. Malzahar, once you put the E on him, he's just completely stacked with the damage here. Malzahar coming out with 3 kills at the end of all of this. 3-0 and 1 Malzahar could spell some trouble, as he's going to have so much control in the mid lane here. Being able to mash the Yasuo is going to be a huge thing for them, as they have 2 potential really good side laners here. And they have actually the potential to do a nice little 1-3-1 Icathia over here with the core of Nami, Brand, and Nunu, making it really hard for enemies to engage on them with the Nami bubble. You got Nunu slows, you've got Brand like AoE wave clear. All of that makes it really, really hard to push up against them in a 1-3-1 situation. And you have your Yasuo and you have your Mundo finding their way into the side lanes. Also can be really tough to meet, to match what they have, but they do have good answers for it as well. So it's not completely out of the picture here. Oh, I didn't even see that. Camavor did get Dragon. Wow, what a nice steal. God, I wish directly Cama did that instead of watching the fight top lane. You're correct, Camavor secured that kill over there. It's really good. That puts them at 2-1 for that, for their feats. As for neutral monsters, so no first tower yet. 2-1 for Camavor on the neutral feats. 1 for Icathia. And then I do not remember who got the kill feats. Might have been Icathia. I'm looking around to see if there was like an obvious way of seeing. No, Steam, why are you doing this? 1 second. No need to see what other people are playing. Fight in the top lane here. A little bit of skirmishing once again. Your boy Money is actually up in level somehow. That's impressive. Still very neutral. No, not a lot of tower hits so far, but I do believe they should probably look to fighting here in the top lane. A little bit more trading back and forth. We have 3 champions here in the top lane for Camavor. They're pincering in on combo right here. They don't need the CC. Kamo's gonna just sacrifice his life to try to get that demolish proc, as you do. And oh, the TP attempt. I respect it. He just does not have the health bar to do it, and they did have a second way to knock him out of it with the Blitzcrank hook and the knockup. Unfortunately, with him being dead, no TP. They have 20 seconds to try to contest this Rift Herald over here. And he tried to roll in tank with a Malzahar passive. No CC there. 4v4 situation. Camavor is in a great position to keep themselves out here. Wind Wall has been used. Man, he's rolling in. They're looking for the bot lane here. Kind of separated themselves. Buffalo Barrage in a real lot of trouble all of a sudden. Emergency exhaust and Daddy working, but dies anyway. And Blue Team gets to secure. You got the Nuna secure. Re-engage coming in from J-Money. Hitting the Daddy's working. Fighting between two-man knockup. Coming off the Nami bubble. Misfortune coming across, hitting 2. Camavor coming out on top of the fight here, though. In spite of the very nice knockup into Yasuo combo. Colonel combo is now here to keep them off of Cthulhu. Not much more to be got. But the Rift Herald going to the side of Icathia is really, really good here, as that's finally going to help them break down the tower. Combo still walking forward, trying to see what else he can get. Maybe walk a little too far here. Cthulhu is now in danger, has to flash out. DJ Parmesan now also being the one walking a little too far forward. Dies just to the hands of the Mundo. Cthulhu walks out. Getting a little greedy, guys. Just take it easy. Buffalo Barrage rolling in. There goes the Spell Immune. Rift Herald on the side of Icathia is going to be really good. It's going to help them shatter a tower finally. I imagine this is going to be used in the top lane, as they are posturing 2 champions there in the top lane here. More poke. Ah, this Malzahar is going to hurt so much once he gets all of his items together. I can imagine the Leandri is going to be bought here, and this Mundo is just going to melt. back into the neutral state here. Malzahar finding himself into the recall. No neutrals for another minute 22 for the upcoming dragon. Nope, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Dragon is up now. Chemtech Dragon, 5 seconds up. Malzahar TPing in to join into the fray. Camavor has the first position once again. Yunu does have Smite, has upgraded Smite, as well as Feast. This is going to be a very hard commit here. They're going to keep it inside. Manny's rolling in. Rift Herald right into the middle lane. Big knockup. Manny is a little way too far out of his team. Vessel finding Yasuo in the back line here. That kicks him out of the fight completely. They're turning right back into the dragon. Vessel ult corner combo right into the middle of everybody. Olaf ult going right for Cthulhu in the background. Exhausted, does no damage to it. Wait for it, is in a lot of trouble. Flashes over the wall to get himself to safety. Sua now dealing with J Money, flashing over the wall. Keep himself back into safety. A lot of flashes burned here. It's going to be very interesting moving forward. Your boy J Money finds himself a little trouble. Colonel Combo might be looking for a tower dive here. Calls for it. Don't think everybody was in for it. Gets the Demolish proc on no minion reduction, however, so maybe not the best use of your Demolish proc here. But whatever you could use to deal damage to towers, as that's what Muno cares about. Push, push, push. Right, Sua did not buy Riley's first item. Looking forward to damage, and it looks like he's going to continue the damage route, as he does have the Haunting Guys here, probably looking towards the Leandries that was mentioned a little bit earlier. Oh, I just realized time control is still on the good. So boy J Money teleports back down, finds Colonel Combo with his pants down. Has to ult out. This should just kind of end that engage. Manny is rolling down, probably calling Combo to stay and do the fight, which he has enough HP to do so. Finds Manny gets knocked up with his snowball. The Combo takes a couple of tower shots. Seems to be... God, I really want to see tower damage against Combo. It's got to be like a great stat track one of these days. Yeah, well, the skin doesn't really have pants, I guess. It's more like one of those wrestler number things. There's an official name for it, I'm sure. Let me get rid of these time controls. So this is going to be really, really interesting coming up here, as the next objective is going to be a while. Where's Otacon at? I do not remember these icons whatsoever. Otacon's still gonna be coming down. Sevelin coming down here for the Colonel Combo Burning Bros just to get out of the situation that he's in. Really, really hard to kill this guy without any real lockdown. You can chain slow all you want, but with Ghost, since Colonel Combo opted to go for the Ghost, ult giving him movement speed as well, it's gonna be really, really hard to actually complete a kill on how much regen this Mundo it has. Now that he has Warmogs, he can stay in lane forever too. Yeah, those speedos, man. No pants. We've got the classic lull. Otacon has now spawned, so now this is going to be the really interesting part. There are no flashes on key members of Camavor here coming up. No flashes in the key members. Actually, also a flash is going to be coming up. No ghosts on the key members on Icathia. This is going to be a bloodbath if they decide to go for this fight coming up. Yasuo will have flash. That's pretty nice. But Money has to be careful here. He's taking a lot. He's trading unnecessarily on this combo. They find Buffalo Barrage in the jungle trying to get the wards in here. DJ Parmesan trying to lay down as much damage as he can. A little bit of poke here, but Nami should be able to sustain them up very, very easily here. There's so much sustain on the Icathia side of things that these little short pokes are not going to do it. Manny is walking a little kind of far here. Gets the hook onto Manny. Manny flashes out, gets knocked up anyway. Chains into the Vessel ult. Nami wave coming across right on top of everybody. And Nami ult, or Yuna ult coming right across everybody. A little too deep on the Olaf there. Still unable to find a kill. 1 HP onto Desua. Daddy's working, finding more, trying to find more over here. Gets the Malzahar button. Unable to play the game. DJ Parmesan should be able to find a kill very easily there. Dot bounce onto Colonel Combo, melting away very, very slowly, but very surely. HP is getting healed up by Cthulhu over here in the background, and that comes up to be a 2-for-1. 3-for-1 in favor of Icathia. This is really good. They're going to turn around. They're going to look at this Otacon. I can't imagine they're actually going to do it until Brand meets them there. This is going to buy them some time, Camavor, for to be able to spawn and maybe run over. No TP on the Mbessa, however. I think Malzahar should probably, if they even care about going for the Otacon, Malzahar should have recalled and TP'd back in by now. But they are, Camavor, sorry. Icathia is in a great position to just kind of take this out of con. I can't imagine this is going to be stolen without the jungler presence. Wait for it. It's going to look for it. DJ Parmesan's making an attempt. Secured by the Nunu at 800 HP. Oh my goodness. On the way out, Suo gets caught by the Blitzcrank hook. At least they get one back for their troubles. Rip Yasuo Beyblade, indeed. The very fun button of Malzahar. Next crucial that's coming up is in 13 seconds. Flashes are back online on a lot of these key members. No flash on the Nunu. Flash is going to come back in time for all the key members, Misfortune, Blitzcrank. So they have to find ways to kind of maybe if they can find ways to burn these flashes before committing into the dragon fight, can put them in a really good position, especially because they have something like Blitzcrank to come in. Or they're just going to run it. They're just going to completely go for it. I mean, they were already in a better position, so they believed that they could take it fast enough, and they were right. No fears there, just on the exit. I guess if the case is that they were able to take it that fast, maybe Icathia didn't fit with combo, walking really far forward here. Really confident in the amount of health that he has, but the Warmog should be able to just keep him back up healthy. There's no neutrals to be had here, so I think it would be good to start taking care of these side waves over here. These are situations where we need to not fall for this. We don't need to fall for this, like, you know, NA ram happening in the bot or in the mid lane. We can take care of our side lane. Somebody should be looking to get this push going right here so they can get priority, deny a bunch of minions as much as they can to keep whatever, you know, position that they have. They don't necessarily have the lead. Hook attempt finds the minion instead, just to make sure Parmesan again gets that minion. We want to make sure our AD CS stays ahead over here. What a great support. Wait for it. There it is. So, see, this is the situation here. Good response. Wait for it. Goes for the bottom lane. Too much anagram was happening, and Icathia was not prepared for the sudden push in the bottom lane. Boja Money over here. Just concentrating. This is stat padding. I think in the stat screen, we should minus 30k damage from both top laners for how much they've fought and done nothing at all with it. Farms are happening. We got Baron in 30 seconds. All the important clashes are still up again. No skirmishes or anything. I do still think that in this kind of situation, Camavor should try to see with Blitzcrank, and they can burn some of these flashes. Being able to find some of these flashes out of the likes of your Brand, out of the likes of Nami, these are very immobile champions. They will suffer in the upcoming fight against the amount of chase potential that Camavor has. And speaking of, Triple Money finding himself in a fight against Manny. He uses the ult, completely whiffs it, gets knocked up with the Nami bubble, followed up by the Yasuo ult. Oh, just found the little tiny corner in the wind wall for the Meth ult. Olaf running rampant into the backline. Cthulhu goes down. On the other side of the situation, you got Combo finding himself against the Misfortune. Misfortune stays alive through the tower, through the dive there. I wish I had a good replay because I want to go back and watch that fight, but they had a kind of a split situation where your boy J Money is deep into the fight on one side. Combo tries to go for the dive on the other side. The wind wall was just not wide enough to completely block out the Misfortune damage. It was a little bit on the bottom side of it. It was actually peeking through for some damage, getting Daddy's working into trouble. And of course, the thing that I mentioned over in the beginning of the draft, the Malzahar ult being put onto the Yasuo and just completely shutting down the champion. And with still no QSS in mind, I feel like that's happened enough times to him that he should probably pivot his build to at least commit to a QSS. Because that way we can actually play the game. It's been happened like 3 or 4 fights now that the Yasuo just tries to make an engage happen, finds a nice little ult, or tries to dash in, tries to make any kind of play onto the backline of the Parmesan, but then just gets net grasped and he kind of just can't do anything anymore. This is where situations like this, where you're kind of you should be able to recognize the situation that's been happening in these past fights and kind of transition your idea moving forward. It's really hard unless they make a conversation about having to dedicate something to stop the Malzahar ult from happening, which in a lot of these cases it's actually really hard to follow up on, as what's happening is Yasuo is diving just way too deep and finding himself in a situation where they can't follow up and knock off the Malzahar ult in time in order for him to actually be able to get the damage out. He has a lot of their kills. I imagine a lot of their gold as well. Yeah, he is holding on to a lot of their gold. And with one Malzahar ult, you turn off 12,000 damage. You turn off 12k worth of gold on this team that's now down 4k with one Nether Grasp. Or we invest in 1,300 gold and we're good. Colonel Combo finding himself in a situation here. Can't imagine again that they can kill him. They don't have enough CC to actually completely lock him down. Blitzcrank Hook makes the attempt on the window here, but a level 15 window, he practically always has his ult or passive as long as Dravoje Money finds himself into trouble. Manny cutting him off. Manning it. Ult right into the middle of 4. Here comes the dive that I'm talking about. You got Mbessa diving into the backline. Olaf just completely running down the supports in the backline, and they just cannot split this fight. The rundown of just Olaf and Mbessa is enough, and they're not able to fight back enough with these fights. There's so much going on. Buffalo Barrage makes another attempt on the hook, although if it lands, the passive just gets kind of knocked off, and he picks it up, and it's right back up as at this point, I believe it's a low enough cooldown that picking it up just kind of resets the passive there. Bosco will see the recall happen. So we had the Leandries. We committed to the Morellonomicon, which I completely disagree with. I think just sitting on the Oblivion Orb is more than enough. You're not buying the Morellonomicon for its stats. You're buying it for the heal cut. Morellonomicon stat differential is more for late game related stuff. Looks like they're positioning themselves into another fight. Here comes a teleport in from Dravoje Money. Looks like they want to make sure that they're in ready for this Elder Dragon fight. I love me an Elder Flip. There is a 2400 damage Knight on the side of Icathia, and if we want to go for the Elder Flip, I am here for it. Manny's trying to find himself at an angle, trying to see if they can find the HP on this Elder Dragon. And he's rolling in a little too early. Malzahar ult coming across onto Dravoje Money. Dravoje Money finding himself into the backline onto Cthulhu, looking to focus on their kills there. Daddy's working, gets the knock up on Sevelin. Completes the ult on Sevelin. Not enough damage though. Sevelin in a lot of trouble. Can't ult out. Burning away from the Ignite here. Dravoje Money still finding himself into the backline, completely out skirmishing the entire team of Icathia. Sua's trying to fight back, save his life. Riley's is going to make it really hard for Dravoje Money to find a fight there. Colonel Combo. Oh my goodness. That was insane on both sides. You had the Mundo just dealt a pretty cool like 600 damage combo on Sudden's Fortune, and she barely gets away with it with the Collector. Incredible stuff. Sua here to hold the tower. Gets a nice little stun on Dravoje Money. Not enough there for him to get the kill. Elder Dragon gonna go very squarely into Camavor's side here. I hope. Okay. No weird stuff. No weird stuff. They're gonna take their resets. Everybody's got Elder. I imagine they're gonna use this Elder to kind of knock down the front lines here. Probably look to try to end the game. Hold hands. Everybody sing Kumbaya. Let's run it down mid lane. Or they can save it for a little bit longer. By the time Baron is up, there should be, I believe, another minute on their Elder. They can use that as a means of pressure to be able to get Baron. That's gonna be fun. I would surely hope that Sua does not also make the same, I don't want to call it a mistake, but the same mistake of completing the Morellos. Again, you really are only getting it for the Oblivion or the Morello. Oh, they find himself Cthulhu here from the ward. Blitzcrank Hook finds Cthulhu, gets the knock up, and that's an immediately dead Nami here. I can't imagine that they are going to fight for this Baron's coming up in 30 seconds. They should still have the Elder here. There's no way that they can do that. If anything, the best thing that Icathia can do here is maybe push out side lanes, try to get it as far out as they can, buy themselves a little bit of time to get the Elder running out. Although, honestly, it'll be probably up by the time the Baron's out anyway. They have to be careful getting caught out by this Blitzcrank here. there's still a lot of potential damage out of a cat. Colonel Combo walking up to wait for it. Oh my goodness. Colonel Combo walking up to wait for it. He's feeling extremely confident. Mouse of Horror ult unfortunately just gets walked off by his passive here. That is working. Finds DJ Parmesan with a nice ult. Wait for it. Flash just in place for damage. Forgot that it's not Arena and he does not have Flashbang. Luna ult coming across. You got Jaboja Money's ult finding Yasuo, getting the kill secure here. Suo getting really, really low into the mid lane here, taking away from the Elder. Oh, Blitzcrank hook attempt onto Cthulhu. Does not find a connection. And Colonel Combo just wins the fight also in the background. Wait for it. Yeah, the lack of serpent's gonna be really interesting. Colonel Combo doing the push thing, as one does. It's kind of funny how like Icathia, Camavor has Elder, but Icathia just said, okay, we'll fight. The only condition is we don't have like we don't have 15% of our max health or like 10% of our max health left. If we don't get down that low, then it doesn't matter. Which is crazy because they also have Chemtech Soul, which is an insane soul for like these low HP fights. So amazing that they got to find what they could in a situation where they are in that backcourt. Yeah, wait for it, forgetting that this is an arena. He doesn't have the flashbang trait. Shouldn't use that right on top of the Mundo. But I get it. Arena's a lot of fun. Mayhem is a lot of fun. And this is going to be still in Camavor's position. They're still in this like very commanding position. Obviously, they got themselves an uncontested Baron over here. Colonel Combo matching. Wait for it over here. Flashless this time, so he has to be extra careful about this here, because last time with Flash he died. He has to be very, very careful that he just kind of lets the thought bounce do its thing. And he rolling into the mid lane. Watch this knock up over here. Finds it on DJ Parmesan just out of range. Daddy's working. Whether or not that was intentional, that was incredible. Yep, Morelos has been finished. It is not for that. Just buy anything else first. You will get so much more power buying literally any other item than completing this fight. Unless it's literally the last fight ever. Then you can make an argument there. But in more cases or not, here. It's interesting. Wait for it. Still doesn't have... Oh, Manny rolling into the top lane here. Jaboja Money finds himself caught a little bit. No knockup means he can't follow up. Wait for it. Is trying to teleport out of combo. Can't stop that teleport. Combo is now completely out of position. He can teleport back as they're pushing... Camavor's pushing down mid lane over here. Jaboja Money pulled 2. Are they going to be able to complete this? Manny's right here in the... Finding the blank. Finds one knockup onto Buffalo Mirage. He's now into the backline. Wait for it, gets the ult onto Yasuo, but gets it interrupted immediately this time. Daddy's Work is still alive. There's so much damage coming out from Daddy's Work, and now that he can finally play the game, who needs QSS if you can finally get knock-up off? Sevelin blast cones right into combos, loving arms. And I can't imagine that this is going to be a Sevelin win, with Sua also in the backline with his completed Morelos. And this is the point where you are now a little worried about Camavor. You guys have had such commanding lead. You guys are so up on gold. Jaboja Money tries to take off Sua's head. Just falls a little bit short. No public execution here for today. Olaf wins the 1v1 combo, but Sua was like on his way, so I think it was probably fine. Colonel Combo still on the push method here, completely away from his team as Camavor is spawning. Gets the slow onto Combo. There goes the Ghost. The Jaboja Money still holding strong. Misfortune used to do about 2 damage. Roughly. And now it's kind of flipped on its head again. Icathia now in a much more compelling position here. Still very confident on no QSS. Jaboja Money gets himself onto the sideline here. Manny gets the knockup. Easy follow-up, but he also will ult. Very short cooldown, and they're going to commit to the kill on Jaboja Money. Now it's a 4v5 situation coming up on the Dragon. Spawning in 15 seconds is going to be a lot of problems. Jaboja Money does have TP, but he's going to be 40 seconds off of the spawn. Manny still looking for more. Finds a 3-man knockup. Can you imagine right then and then that we have Daddy's Working ult coming through? Olaf diving deep into the backline, trying to do what he can into the backline, but just there's no... Just doesn't have enough damage. Cthulhu just does so much healing. Death's Dance, you have the big shield from the lifeline of Immortal Shield Bow. It's it's looking rough. Zeppelin having Ghost there would have been nice in some situations. I think there's the Malzahar ult onto Mundo. Looks like a little bit of a repeat of what happened last time. Mundo still just healing through all of this. Even with, he's healing for 300 through the heal cut, by the way. And they just do not have that damage. Unfortunately, Misfortune not really known to be a killer of tanks, so to speak. She's more of that team fight presence, doing a lot of AoE damage in team fights. Trying to be nice, I guess. I'm trying to give them, I don't know, maybe monitors get turned off. Your boy J Money makes another attempt at public execution on Manny, although finds himself instead on 3. Sua lands the stun properly. Bubble coming up a little bit short. Your boy Money now trying to find his way out. Wait for it. In an attempt to help, J Money finds himself with a Yasuo. Just kind of straight up killing him. Oh, the flash on Sua's feeling himself, flashing forward to get the stun on Sevelin just to let him know that he doesn't need this summoner spell anymore. The dots were still ticking, apparently, and the Elder proc finds the kill on Boy Money. Now there's only 3 left, and it's going to be really, really hard to defend this push. Combo doesn't even care. Gets the Demolish proc. He finds himself dead. Here's the TP coming in from Daddy's Working. Hopefully this is not a throw. But yeah, we get the knock up on Sevelin. And that's just going to be a very easy kill with the Elder buff. Manny's still continuing forward. Never mind, says no. Combo's just having fun. Yasuo is going to be back off cooldown really soon, level 18. Silenced out of the ball roll. Healing the Teemo with the redemption there. Making sure he stays nice and healthy. Manny starts to roll it again. Yasuo ult is up. DJ Parmesan gets hit by the knockup, finds the follow-up with the Yasuo ult. Moonwall coming down, and this should just be a nice wave coming across. That should probably be wraps. I can't imagine Mbessa holds this. And he's starting to roll once again. Public execution found onto Cthulhu. Cthulhu fashes out of the way. Gets stunned. Unable to play the game as well. We love CC in this game. And with that, I think game 1 is going to be going to Icathia here. Olaf making an attempt on Sua's life. Finds the Sua kill. +1 to the kill count. Fixing the KDA. Love that for him. Alright, that's game 1. Yeah, so let's go ahead and knock off like... Let's go ahead and knock off like 30k from this. So this is really 23k damage. And this is 13k damage for how much they fought each other. Thoughts? Oh, it's only 30? Oh, yeah. Besides like game 2, let me see, where did my spectate? Bang. Put that there. We'll put this up there. Oh, that's true. I don't know math, clearly. Bang. Oh, it's the same link. So this is nice, right? So we late drafted the Mundo after we saw this kind of combination here, which doesn't have a lot of like secure ways of stopping the Mundo passive, making it like so that they can just kind of run through everybody. The only real ways they have is the knock up and grab here, but if you're wasting that on the Mundo, then everybody has free play. And you were kind of seeing it a little bit, fortunately. Oops. You were kind of seeing it a little bit, fortunately, in the case of, you know, these guys over here. He's getting Malzahar CC'd. But later on, it kind of just didn't matter. They found ways to finally interrupt the CC or like taking much more aggressive positions in the fight, so he doesn't have that opportunity to do anything. That is true. It would have been nice to have something help this. I imagine maybe something like a Rakan. Not necessarily an enchanter, but like Rakan would be like an interesting pick here. For example, Rakan to help this further dive here. But I imagine you don't want a Rakan because of the Nami situation. It can be a little fun. Cyrildas is nice on Misfortune for that slow. The caveat is you got to get them to the 50% health somehow, some way. But I mean, I will say the Malzahar, I don't actually think ever got to the point of building the Rylai's, which is extremely good on a very, very immobile team, right? Like everyone, like this right here, they don't move a lot. You got this guy who's got his 50 million dashes. That's whatever. But everybody else here, you just get dotted by Malzahar, and then you're kind of poked out. I kind of wish they had something to also match that, like maybe something like a Caitlyn or something, so that like you can take advantage of the slow and you have like just an insane amount of range to like poke at them instead. And something to like properly kill Mundo. Caitlyn's not also that big of a tank killer, but I mean if he's permaslowed and Caitlyn can kite him, eventually that sniper does turn into a machine gun with lethal tempo. So always interesting there. Um, Especially because like on the flip side, you have Brand who did build the Rylai's, but you got this guy who's immune. She has enough dashes to completely mitigate that situation. She doesn't ever really need to move in a team fight. She kind of finds her place and she ults, but I mean the slow is really good on her. And then obviously Blitzcrank getting slowed is kind of nice because you don't want him to find a position to be able to find those hook angles. I don't want to call it draft diff, but they were definitely getting, and it was pretty obvious. These guys were getting kind of outscaled. Like brand damage starts to get kind of ridiculous with the percent damage scaling. Obviously, you'll just naturally scale. Well, percent health damage. Yasuo just does infinite amounts of damage. Has bonus percent pen, so he doesn't ever need to commit that into an item slot. And then Mundo also kind of a hard scaling type champion. So I think Camavor needed to be more decisive. Like I said, finding hooks with Blitzcrank, like kind of holding hands, like really, really aggressive positioning with the Blitzcrank, finding hooks, burning flashes prior to neutrals, and then instead of committing to neutrals, maybe use the fact that they are flashless on a very immobile team to then find themselves windows of opportunity. Yeah, exactly. It's so easy to spread. You put yourself in a really bad situation. It's like then you're just getting chased out of your mind. On the upcoming draft here, I'll try to see what I can do and talk about for a draft. Unfortunately, I don't have enough like brain power to actually be able to predict individual players' preferences. So I'll probably just be talking about it in a general sense. So we're going into the draft here. Camavor flipping to the blue side over here. Kale ban on the get-go. Over here, Galio ban. So these are going to be a lot of mages that are going to be open now. Vladimir ban looks like if anything, I know that's a combo ban. Heimerdinger ban, get something annoying out of the way. Tryndamere ban. A lot of these are probably going to be really targeted picks. Volibear ban. Okay, so we have Xinjiao open. We have mid lane trades are very open right now. We have Oriana options. We have I don't know if anybody plays it. We got Victor. We've got Ari and stuff like that, and we opened with Nefiri over here. Nefiri very strong. This can be a flex, as I think I've seen. I've seen his flex top lane and jungle, so that's going to be an interesting pick. Icathia has a lot of options that they can go for here. Something just really, really strong. I mean, Xinjiao is open. I don't know how that matchup goes for here, though, but Wukong is open. I don't know if these guys play any of these kinds of champions. Irelia, interesting pick. Very good against this. Maybe they see it as a top lane, something they understand that this is a very likely top lane, Neferi. I don't know if Irelia Qs can one-shot. There's probably a threshold at which Irelia Q can one-shot the Fury Dogs, which will help out a lot in this kind of situation. I know that's why you draft it against like Yorick, for example. Ash pick, keeping it really safe here. So now I expect maybe something like a Caitlyn pick would be nice, maybe an Ezreal pick over here, maybe like an Ezreal. You could do like Caitlyn Karma. Caitlyn Karma is a very interesting situation here. Get yourself into a winning bot lane situation. Oh, that's a good point. She could poke it out. Oh, Smolder. Okay, so we're gonna look for a scaling situation. Nami being gone, I can imagine maybe. I know she has a reputation for enchanters, so that's probably we're probably gonna consider something like uh Melio, maybe. I'm thinking Melio. I'm thinking. Let's see what else is in the support tab. I'm thinking Melio. You got. I thought I put myself in invisible there. That was supposed to stop showing. Warwick pick. Okay. Interesting. So this can still be flexible, but I guess like with player knowledge, you'll understand that like maybe they'll have something there. Sarah Ashe coming in. Fun interaction. Ashe auto attacks, and you get an immediate snare or stun, depending on how you want to double cast the Seraphine here. And this is a really good pushing lane. This is where I would probably want a Karma pick here. They're probably going to bait out a couple more support bands here. That's what I'd imagine, so that the Smolder puts himself in a kind of awkward situation. But I would like a Karma over here, maybe, just to see if like they can counter this pushing, or they could do themselves the Melio thing and just kind of hang out under tower. The thing about the Smolder matchup, Braum ban. I mean, Braum Smolder, I guess, is kind of a thing. There's not really anything right now being shown that makes Braum a very strong pick. I mean, Warwick can proc it, but they're suppressed, so it kind of doesn't do anything there. Silas ban. Silas ban almost makes me feel like they want to do Malphite. Nice. Okay, so there's the Malphite ban. Icathia over here. Onto the blind pick. I think... Yeah, you definitely do jungle pick here. They're definitely going to pick their jungle here. And then we're going to do a support. Obviously, they're going to do the last things here for support. I imagine we're going to just kind of hang back on support. Maybe a Soraka idea. Melio idea. What the heck happened to the pick? Oh, Jack's ban. Right. So Jack's ban. Because the jungle. They don't want Jack's jungle. Or this is Irelia mid. Okay, Hecarim. Okay. This is awkward. All of their damage is going to be this guy. In a team fight. It's going to be these two right now. Let's see how they need something to round out this draft that will also help these two do damage, because these guys in a team fight that if they choose to engage, cannot reach. So let's see how they do here. Nami's out, so they can't use wave to kind of split the fight idea as these three dive. Smolder could be a solo laner. That'd be fun. Thresh pick. Interesting. Okay. I flipped the ideas. Cthulhu's over here. Duh. I don't know why I was like hardcore focusing on an enchanter when Cthulhu's over here. Mordekaiser. Okay, so it is Nefiri mid? Right? Yeah, this feels like a Nefiri mid. Syndra would be an interesting choice here. Keep themselves out of the Nefiri, but I feel like that only works up until 6. Azir getting picked. Okay. I like this. So like I said, they needed damage. Icathia needed some damage, especially in the dive kind of situation, if they choose to engage. If Icathia ever feels the need to engage for whatever reason, Sarah's going to fight from far. Ashe is going to ult from far. These two are going to go psycho. They're going to dive. The thing is, they could easily get split in a situation had they picked something else. Like, I mean, we already locked in Thresh here, right? So these guys could get easily split up in a fight because they're going to go much deeper than the other. But what's nice is when you have Azir into the picture, now you have somebody who's also pretty decent range, high scaling, and and somebody who can also join into the backline flank angles to kind of compress this team into all of this nonsense here. If you can compress all of this and not allow them to kite with Smolder and Thresh, while these guys play their little frontline nonsense, then you get into a situation where this is just going to shred them to pieces. Can be. These are all theoretical. The Azir's fun. So this is really high scaling as well. They have much better on the scaling, right? Ashe has Ashe Q once you start hitting like level 13 and stuff. Has 140% AP or AD scaling. She's got her passive that's just a damage multiplier, right? And you have the perma slow to easily kite. You can actually easily kite a lot of this, right? Like the initial for Warwick is really tough because he just psycho jumps in. But after that fact, you can very easily kite a Warwick. It's very easy to kite a Mordekaiser. It's very easy to kite Thresh. Right? He can get trapped. And Thresh in the early game is very weak. Very weak. He has by nature a low amount of armor, and he's one of the only I think the only champion in the game, right, that doesn't have armor per level because of the mechanic of capturing souls and getting his armor. So in this early game situation, as he's leveling up, he's not going to get as much armor, and if he can't collect souls because he's getting pushed and he's getting, or not pushed, but he's getting poked out by the Stone Sarah or the Sarah Ashe, it could be tough. It's a lot of damage that he's going to come across from all their AD damage between these two, presuming we get to that far. Thing is, Smolder is a unique champion that actually really doesn't mind getting pushed in. It gives him the space, gives him the breathing room to be able to farm up stacks, whether it be through Qs and all that stuff. If the dog ganked, both of them, I guess, they do have problems getting this Nefiri off of Ashe, at least in the beginning. I mean, you have the amazing invuln button that they gave the dog for some reason. No bias. And even if the dog like runs headfirst into the Sarah, the CC and such, Ashe stun scaling with distance, they have to kind of play it really perfectly, and they need to be able to run away very fast. But Nefiri is a very sticky champion with her ult and her E bearing a very little cooldown after some items too. And with the invuln, if he plays that gank angle correctly, or if any of the key important cooldowns like Seraphine's E goes down, then you just kind of have free reign from there as Nefiri. So I think it's gonna be a very skirmish heavy game. I mean, obviously this guy already commits to the 1v1, right? He commits to the 1v1. Nefiri kind of wants to kill one, then kill another by nature of her ult. Irelia, I can't imagine she's showing up in a lot of team fights. She will if TP is active, but I imagine that's going to be a split push kind of situation. Sarah Ashe is really good at team fighting as well. Smolder is going to be very hard to actually lock down and kill as long as Thresh positions himself away from Smolder, right? One of the things as Thresh is you always want to, you kind of have two angles as Thresh, right? You're supposed to be like a peel type champion. Even though you can engage and you can make plays, a lot of your tools are better set to actually get people out of situations, especially people who want to do far forward plays, right? So Thresh plays away from Smolder. That way, if they jump Smolder, you get Lantern out. But he also has the flexibility of, if these two decide to go really deep into the situation, you have Thresh Lantern to get out. Thresh is really good at enabling these like heavy dive champions. What's funny too is the Mordekaiser draft makes this a lot more interesting. If the Mordekaiser is fast enough and recognizes this, he can also peel in a really, really effective way. I mentioned that Azir is probably going to want to find a way to try to squish these guys together in a team fight, keep them tight-knit, locked, so that you have the AoE from this Seraphine coming across everybody. You got the Hecarim cleaving everybody down, and if Irelia decides to show up, you have the Irelia damage there. And obviously his own soldiers. But if he's fast enough, before the shuffle even happens, he could completely eliminate that attempt just by ulting him out. Same goes for the Hecarim attempt. Hecarim makes the attempt to go a little too deep. You just ult him, send him to Brazil, call it a day, show him what it's like back in the LTA days, now that we're back to LCS. Yeah, that classic Irelia split push is definitely a concern. And if they keep it to where Mordekaiser is stuck having to deal with this Irelia, then that whole peel idea kind of gets out of the window. And then your 4v4 is these guys now. And this is a very volatile 4v4. If Icathia makes mistakes on their 4v4 and Smolder gets to free hit a bunch, this dragon's going to be a problem. They don't have any guaranteed lockdown. They don't have a Nautilus. They don't have the Malzahar. Oh, somebody else handled that. Predictions up. They don't have the Malzahar. They don't have like the Alistar. They don't have something to just guarantee that the Smolder is getting locked. Everything here can be dodged in some way. So, if the Smolder finds a good position, or they can't find the Smolder correctly, and he's just free shooting Qs, they could be in a lot of trouble. Now, Seraphine has a decent enough amount of sustain for the team with her shields. I imagine, hopefully, this is a Enchanter kind of route, or at the very least, we do still commit to being able to buy Redemption. So that's going to be a thing to help them stay alive against the Smolder, but over time, Smolder does Smolder things. We're getting into the game. I have to do all my settings again because I'm a fool. I need to undo this thing. Undo that. Hit this button. Hit save. Do this button. That button.
Welcome to
cool.
Summoner's Rift.
And we zoom out. I agree. Camavor plan is a very easy thing. Smolder does this thing. Warwick does their thing. The Fury does their thing. You got the team dogs versus the team e-girls. Great. Buffalo threw some hooks. Got a couple of them on the minions to make sure DJ Parmesan kept up on CS. So let's keep that in mind. Walking in, did not get the ward down. So 3 hits, always nice. It's great. It's great. They get the ward down. Although that ward isn't really seeing anything. Got the wards in the bottom lane bush. It's good because Thresh wants to be in this bush. Seraphine wants to be in this mid bush over here. They want to be in here so that they can get the control of the lane, get the pushes out and everything, but they both warded it, so it is what it is. I did not know you can lock in on a ward. Anyway. Finish fights here in the middle lane. Combo's already dashing around, already finding themselves with some auto attack trades here. Get money. Azir top. Makes sense because you want the Aurelia matchup to be with the Fury. So, good. And then the junglers are both mirroring each other. They're clearing top down. There could be some psycho stuff happening in the bottom lane. Oh, finds a nice little stun onto J Money. Commits to the fight. Ignite going down on combo. J Money having to flash out to safety. Making sure that he doesn't lose here. Combo might still look for a re-engage here. Minions are getting low, and low health minions around Aurelia is like candy. Wow. Auto CSing from the Nefiri dog. How fair and nice that is. But we missed that one. Combo doing some dashing in, get himself flashes to the side to avoid a little bit of damage. The attack speed from her passive just fast enough to be able to find the Javoye money and get that last auto attack in. Buffalo Barrage finds the hook over here onto Sua. Exhaust going down to commit to this fight. DJ Parmesan more concerned about the minions right now. That trade still finds himself in favor of Icathia over here. Nice little poke from DJ Parmesan. Buffalo Barrage going in for the flash. Support versus AD fight. Sevelin coming in for the gank to complete the kill. Exhaust going down on for DJ Parmesan. Sevelin finds the Ash kill flashless. Cthulhu over here trying to see if she can find a return kill. Cannot find it. Burns the barrier just to keep himself safe. DJ Parmesan. I just realized he's playing the second hook champion. That's pretty cool. Combo taking a little bit of damage here, but a lot of the sustain from Irelia is going to come from queuing through these minions. Gets the level of power spike here. We got a level advantage. Combo looks to take the fight, misses the stun, but it doesn't matter. It's so much attack speed and so much additional damage from the passive completion. Sevelin picks himself another kill. These fights are happening. Sevelin is just ever so slightly right before where he needs to be, but he's finding the pickup on the kills. Buffalo Barrage finds Manny trying to make the invade happen. I think he got those drafters, but Sevelin is going to be feeling himself right now. What an insane buy. Pickaxe, recurve, longsword. That is a very strong dog, and I'm not talking about the Fury. $400 gold in favor of Camavor here. A very strong Warwick in the early game is really nice to have. It's going to make securing a lot of these neutrals feel a little better, which is ironic because Warwick's actually pretty slow at taking these objectives. He doesn't have a lot of attack speed from the beginning. A lot of his attack speed comes from when you finally hit something that's, I think, below half. That's where you're going to get all of that attack speed from. So up until you get to that point, you're actually not doing a lot. They do a lane swap here into the middle lane. Wait for it, deciding to lane against Combo instead. Find himself a better matchup here, but Combo is completely shredding. Wait for it. Man, remember the days of Irelia passive doing bonus damage to shields? I remember those days. Combo still himself in a very forward position here. No flash. Sevelin committing the flash. Gets the stun. Fear onto Combo. Gets dragged back. Very easy kill once again. That's another kill for the Warwick. This Warwick is probably going to look to do a lot of these ganks early on. Farm be damned. Let's look for kills. Because farm is overrated or something. Midlane over here in a very neutral kind of position still. Although they do have to be a little careful. The suicide, the Icathia side of the situation. Warwick is really, really strong, and if he plays it right, he can follow with the Q to get the fear off on Zero and making like your flash completely wasted. Manny positioning himself to be able to do this dragon as they have priority here in the bottom lane. DJ Parmesan is opting to drop the wave to see if they can kind of get onto this dragon. I really do hope they find something a little bit more here. Otherwise, they're just kind of giving up any kind of positional advantage that they could have had. Especially because it looks like they're going to call off the attempt here. It's subtle, but that kind of situation is something that needs to be decided right away. Whether or not you guys are going to contest it. Because DJ Parmesan had to give up like a portion of that wave and gave up a chance to be positionally advantageous, because now you see this is a smart thing right here. So just gonna freeze the wave here. Now they're gonna be overextended all the time, and it's gonna be putting them in a tough situation. They can't get a nice recall off because if they recall them, they're perma push, so now they're pressured to do this. Bold for them to still kind of go for this. Gets the nice snare. There's that interaction there with the one auto attack into slow. And now they're in so much trouble. They know that Manny's going to be down here. It's very, very scary for them to be able to walk up here. Now they have a great freeze. And that one little moment of Parmesan choosing to walk away from the wave instead of, you know, like maybe kind of committing a crash or something like that and like checking the dragon, now has put them in a really, really bad lane state. Here's a fight in the middle lane over here. Combo finds himself on a little engagement on wait for it over here. Their HP bars are extremely low. Combo waiting for the shield to go down. Finds a re-engage. Could not find a stun. Flashes out of it. Combo now able to sustain through these minions. Irelia things. used to be just a passive lifesteal. And now she has to Q things. I remember that it really is, well. Wave state going okay here in the bottom lane now. Sua's gonna do a half push. Maybe some things, I'd have to see kind of what happened there, but now the reverse can happen, where DJ Parmesan can now freeze it back on his side, but it doesn't look like he's concerned with that. Or nor can he really do it, because Smolder's 25 stacks at this point. We'll try to keep an eye on that as much as we can. We're at 35. But we have ourselves Grubs being taken by the Camavor side. Ash Arrow making an attempt to go kind of wide there. Sevelin is level 6. A lot of damage reduction coming in from that. Sevelin is just going to get completely shredded right after W goes down. Ults to get himself most of his HP back. Chrono Combo now joins the fray. Ult is still being held. No, it's currently down. So much damage. Uses the dog to jump in, getting absolutely countered by the Aurelia mechanics. Wait for it. Tries to grab back, that is working. Gets the flash off. Finds the hook onto Manny. Manny now in a little bit of trouble here. Getting exhausted, using his E to go even deeper into the fight, into a small little tower dive. Wait for it, getting dangerously low. I can already tell Combo really wants this. Buffalo Brush finds the hook onto Daddy's working here. Azir ult going across. Colonel Combo in a lot of trouble. Dies to the tower. Daddy's working could also be in trouble. There's one more minion left. Sevelin finds the kill back onto that situation. DJ Parmesan able to just kind of farm in the bottom lane. Get himself back into the game somehow, as Smolder has to do the Thanos thing and become inevitable. Manny looking to re-engage back onto Sevelin. Can we not? Let's go back. Thank you. Yeah. Sua also, I think, was pushing mid lane the entire time. So that's always kind of funny. You got the ADs kind of pushing their individual lanes. I mean, Sua made the attempt of the arrow. It's just kind of job is done. Your boy J-Money finds the ult onto Sua, easily targeted, dodges the second Q. Your boy J-Money uses the W. Sua popping Ghost to try to chase down J-Money right here. A lot of kiting potential. Needs to be keeping track of the cooldowns here. Your boy J-Money finds both Qs, however, and gets just enough HP to get the kill back. Combo finds the stun, re-engages onto the wait for it over here. Uses the minion to disengage and get so much of the health back. This Aurelia can spell trouble. Here, Unleashed TPs are now activated. Both TPs are down. Dragon coming up in a minute, which I believe puts them in a situation where Combo doesn't quite have it yet, and probably won't have it in time for this Dragon coming up. So let's see how they do these reassignments. What you would probably want to do here... Actually, both TPs are down. You're just kind of scum. You got to get somebody stuck on the top lane. Buffalo Barrage finds a nice little hook on Cthulhu. Nothing more to it there. Let's check on some stacks here. We got 52 on the Smolder, and Thresh got himself 12. So this is what I mean here. 12 stacks of soul on the Thresh. He's got 60 armor. All things considered, that's 60 armor, and that's with a cloth armor. So really, we got 45. That is to say, Smolder has a higher amount of armor right now. So you can kind of see that like Thresh is like this very squishy like champion in the very early games, and you could find ways to punish that with like AD champions by getting a lot of damage onto him until he finally starts getting those soul stacked and can kind of keep up with that armor scaling that he lacks. Smolder with Essence Reaver is going to make the stacking so much faster now, and that's just kind of like the nature of the beast. As he progresses in the stacks, as he progresses in these items, it's going to get easier and easier to get the stacks up. So maybe at 52 now, but he could be in a moment. Meanwhile, in the top lane, wait for it. Gorse for the ultimate on Colonel Combo. Colonel Combo gets the stun. Also commits to the all-in right now under tower. Once again, finds the kill, dies to the tower though. I will petition next time there's a boost bash, there should be somebody dedicated to see how much tower damage Combo takes across like a season, across the tournament. Right here into the jungle, Manny ults in, tries to steal the dragon, is secured by Warwick. Instead, Warwick immediately dies for the secure. J-Boy J-Money finds Cthulhu into the background, gets the first soul. Daddy's working extremely low. J-Boy J-Money's trying to find and see if he can get the kill, but this is the thing that I was talking about. You get kited, you get slowed by the Ashe, you've committed your dash as Nefiri, now you're just permanently slowed. You kind of can't get on anybody anymore until your cooldowns are back up. But once we start getting these ability hastes, it becomes less and less of a problem. But in the meantime, if you are Nefiri and you're trying to find like these commitments, you're gonna have troubles as Ashe is just gonna slow you down. And turns out slows are really good. Maybe if we had Rod Lights last time, it would have been great. I did notice just now that it is a Halo Blades and a Fury. That doesn't feel right to me. I'm not a Fury player, but that doesn't feel right to me. But maybe they had a plan. Maybe there's a reason. Boards are being cleared out. Let's look at item spikes here. Upcoming Rift Herald, 2 minutes. But now we can look at item spikes here, right? We've got even items. Fight in the top lane. Your boy Jimani uses W just to kind of avoid the situation entirely. Please be careful walking back up because she can use your dogs to kind of get to you. Okay. So we have even items on the... Somehow we have even items here. I mean, we have like a death lead. No completed item on here. He has completed item. Completed item Irelia. Completed item. Completed item. Completed item. So we're kind of even-ish on the item disparity here. Warwick ult fighting Manny Avenue. Sleeping in his own jungle. Commits to the kill here. We got 3 people going for this Gromp. Amazing. Secure. Parmesan finds himself in the situation. Sua's getting a lot of auto attacks off. Nice little attempt to extend the Seraphine ult with your body. Just barely falls short. I think that would have put him in a lot of trouble if he got that extension correctly. Colonel Combo going for the dive onto J Money, hitting the tower a couple of times. Just to swag on him. Colonel Combo, we have got to press the button that makes it so we only target champions, because I think we accidentally threw 2 auto attacks into the tower there. Otherwise, your boy J Money would have definitely died. Rift Herald's coming up in 30 seconds. It's the next neutral in the game. Sevelin is a level ahead on Manny right now, which is nice for the situation. Levels are, relatively speaking, comparable. You are 1 level behind on your Smolder to the Ashe, but you're also 1 level up on your jungler to their jungler. So it's still kind of comparable in that kind of sense. Rift Herald coming up here will be a lot of fun. See what kind of fight we're gonna do here. DJ Parmesan completing bottom lane here. Colonel Combo matches, but he does have TP. Let's keep an eye on that, as he could just push this wave. But knowing him, he's gonna try to engage on DJ Parmesan here. Cannot find a stun. While Camavor now commits to the Rift Herald take. I hope that they are okay with this. They are going to completely secure it, and now we're just out. Fantastic, we're just out. DJ Parmesan getting a couple of stacks off of combo here. Very interesting how Camavor found himself in a situation where they can very safely secure that Rift Herald, despite how strong combo is. I think combo should have committed to the idea of, let me push this wave as fast as possible, let me get the TP up there, and bing bang boom, we got ourselves in a situation where we can secure neutrals with how strong Irelia is. Sua over here, trying to glide on Dribble J Money over here. Backed up by Cthulhu makes it really, really safe for him to do this kind of fights, with Sevelin preying on the wings here. Lanes are kind of inverted over here. Cthulhu finds Sevelin lurking around the jungle. They're a little separated. Ult going across, finds nobody. Cthulhu goes down to Sevelin for free here. Sua makes the attempt, finds the kill, gets the Warwick ulted, but all things considered, that was a nice trade. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Combo getting really close to being the kill. DJ Parmesan, the barrier just enough to keep him alive. Combo looking for another stun to finish off DJ Parmesan, cannot find it. Gets to sustain back up on the minions. They have to be very, very careful here. Next minion wave is coming, and I can already feel the Combo is going to dash through these minions and get all of his health back. I can see the tower dive attempt burning in his eyes. Sevelin sniffs out Colonel Combo, rushing in, sidesteps the stun, nothing else to be done here. This tower should probably fall on this upcoming wave. We are committing a Rift Herald as well for it. And we are just going to watch this Rift Herald move down tier 2. Now, I like to use Rift Heralds to definitely secure tier 1s instead. This Rift Herald is essentially a completely wasted Rift Herald, when we could have used that to secure mid lane. I think we could have had the numbers advantage to move ourselves into the mid lane there and get the mid tower instead, especially because the value in terms of map control is really, really high in getting mid tower secure. So if there's ever an effort that you want to put into securing a tower, you should probably put it towards something like mid lane over anything else, because the amount of map control you generate from mid lane tower going down is significantly higher than any of the side lanes. Combo, dashing through minions, finding Javoje Money. She is now able to completely one-shot the dogs. That is not a good sign. Javoje Money just gets auto-attacked to death. Sevlin over here getting a lot of damage taken back on him. Not a lot of defensives on Sevlin. Really only has the Merc Treads, which is a measly 30 magic resistance. Not enough to really stop anything. This puts Icathia in a really good position to take over this dragon. It should just be theirs for free, but I like that they have decided to not waste their time trying to poke around at him and get these like waves in. Wait for it to probably walk away here towards the upper side of the map. Catches an Ash Arrow in the back. Manny Avenue getting all this damage in. Ults him out to safety, but there's not much more places this Mordekaiser can go, I can imagine. He burns the flash to try to get away, gets tagged by an Ashlow, and kind of goes down. You know, DJ Parmesan catching himself a mid-wave here. Getting a couple of stacks. We're at the 125 mark. I haven't checked that in a while. Buffalo Barrage makes an attempt on the hook. Almost gets Sua. Oops. Let's see. Stack count. We are at 132 on the Smolder. So only going to accelerate from here. And we have 27 on the Thresh. 85 armor. That's problematic. That is a very, very squishy Thresh. It is Aftershock Thresh though, so at least that helps. Okay. Pushing the mid lane. Combo looking himself for a fight in the top lane here. Finds the stun onto wait for it. We decide to watch here in the mid lane. Seraphine ult finds Warwick instead. Nice little combo. GNCC ults to try to get Manny back. Manny does go down to the Smolder. Colonel Combo in the meantime gets himself killed in the top lane. DJ Parmesan taking a lot of damage. Gets rooted down under tower. Finds the hook. Buffalo Barrage finds the hook under Daddy's tower. Under the tower. Ashwell coming across the stun. Buffalo Barrage almost gets the snare stun. Followed up by the Seraphine. That connected Buffalo Barrage surely would have went down. Top lane now is in shambles as well, getting pushed in by Combo, taking every single fight that he possibly could see. And they're going to be in a lot of trouble here because they don't have a good answer for this Irelia. Your boy J Money can't match the Irelia. The dogs are completely one-shot by her Q at this point. We just watched wait for it also fall into the Irelia. This Irelia never, ever, ever needs to group. And they'll probably win off of it. So we have some ideas that we can try to do. Camavor side. Smolder tries to still become inevitable. But maybe we look to try to drag the fights to where the Irelia is. Instead of matching this with push, maybe we drag the fights to where she is and then kind of pray that we can win that fight. It's a tough situation to be in. Look how strong the Irelia is right now. Here it is, Daddy's working, putting up the wards. This is something that is interesting that's happening. We got the teleport coming in from wait for it. They're trying to position themselves really aggressively in this situation to get Otacon control. Calling it back. Javoja Money is already half HP. Combo comes right in, wait for it, takes the ult in. Fight engage starting to happen. Buffalo Barrage finds himself caught up by Sua, slowed permanently. Combo still fighting, wait for it inside. Combo wins the fight into Death Realm. And that's just Otacon for Icathia. Javoja Money takes a bunch of damage, finds a nice little two-man stun on Colonel Combo here. Colonel Combo finds himself with a Warwick ult, gets the shutdown onto the Warwick. DJ Parmesan doing a lot of damage in these fights. There's hope. There's always hope for the Smolder. Now they're going to try to push down mid lane here. DJ Parmesan gets more Qs out, does so much damage with these Qs. They have to... Icathia has to be very, very careful that the Smolder doesn't get away with the game. He does so much damage, and the health bars aren't all that large for Icathia either. Ashe, Seraphine, pretty squishy champions. Azir, very, very squishy build. No Zhonya's yet or anything like that. So the Smolder can still kind of run away with this game if he's able to just kind of queue through things. And if Combo can't find the kill on Smolder, which it's going to be really, really hard to lock him down. like I said, nothing is guaranteed on the side of Icathia onto the Smolder. He has every means to be able to dodge every single possible engagement they could throw at him. And if that kind of thing happens, they could be in a lot of trouble. They have the benefit of being so far ahead that maybe it doesn't end up mattering, but you have to reevaluate yourself into the situation in mind that moving forward, if they find themselves in a situation like this, they need to consider slowing down the pace of the game, need to be more sure about their execution on the Smolder or like any real damage before they commit further into these fights. Sua feeling real confident, pushing himself deep into the lane here. Buffalo Barrage coming in on this the side angle here. Could find himself in trouble, gets tagged by the slow Colonel combo. Always walks forward. Doesn't know how to walk backwards. Knows how to walk backward there. Finds the stun onto the Smolder. Smolder flies away. Savalin gets the fear onto Colonel combo. He could get completely locked up here. Colonel combo immediately just goes down. Savalin lives for just a little bit longer, but gets taken down in the back by Sua. A nice little shuffle attempt to get to Jaboyje money, but he just gets to flip himself out of the way. Now, this is going to be where the problem is if combo gets a little too hasty. He doesn't need to be here in these team fights. There's so much pressure between the Azir, Ashe, and Seraphine that they don't need to be committing to these. Luckily, they're still winning in these kinds of situations, so they can put themselves back into the position of getting Dragon. Buffalo Barrage now getting perma-slowed by Sua. Again, this is what I was mentioning about the Ashe thing too. You're just kind of so immobile that you're in trouble. Jaboyje money ults into the Sua. Sua ults him back further into his team now. Buffalo Barrage is in trouble, slowed permanently. Manny is going to try to take out DJ Parmesan here. Has to flash out to keep himself safe. But this is like one of those situations where, like, if the game was maybe a little bit more neutral, Icathia could be in a lot of trouble. Savalin got really, really far ahead, but this build they went for is very, very aggressive, very high damage. Which is nice if the entire enemy team wasn't also insanely strong. Oh, he pressed Smite on the Smolder, I see. We have ourselves 3 dragons. Soul point goes to Icathia. They're just so unbelievably strong right now. I mean, it's a 4,000 gold lead. Oh, yeah, it's true. It's those small little details, you know, like you kind of think about after the fact, like, oh yeah, this would have worked. That like really separates, you know, like game knowledge. Savalin uses his ult to push through the stun onto combo, gets so much damage onto combo, completely wins this 1v1. The amount of damage reduction from holding the fear is insane. Looks like Savalin can be their split pusher for here. Buffalo Barrage kind of find himself aimlessly wandering into the jungle, put himself in a bad situation, forced to flash out, but they get the kill on combo. And yet somehow Icathia still has the position to continue fighting. Manny goes right in. Smolder has hit his stack count. Manny goes in a little too deep. Smolder is completely stunned up. Manny's probably going to die to the Smolder burn here. Smolder is trying to do as much damage as he can, maybe a little too forward. They're just way too strong. Sua gets himself a triple kill. He's also just as strong as combo is, but you can see like the little glimpses of it. How problematic Camavor can become very quickly. Like if they had been able to stabilize the early to mid game transition a little bit more and prevented combo from becoming like a threat so early, then you can kind of see how Camavors can be in a really, really good position to just stand in front of the Smolder, wait it out, have flank angles from the Fury. You have Mordekaiser who can ult out anybody who, like any one person who can try to dive the Smolder. You can see the workings there, but right now they're just getting kind of stat checked. But this is a situation where the flip could happen from what happened last game, where Camavor can be put into a really good position to scale up with the Mordekaiser, scale up with the Smolder, and kind of eliminate the problems that they were having in the beginning. Kind of can't eliminate the problem of Irelia one-shotting your dogs as Nefiri. That's just kind of unfortunate. Maybe in the draft, if we were going to think about Nefiri, maybe Irelia ban will be really good if you know that the enemy team likes to play Irelia, which I think Combo is one of those kinds of people that actually likes Irelia. Oh, the Ashe Arrow finds DJ Parmesan here, gets completely chain CC'd, but there is no damage coming out. Remember what I said. They cannot follow the same kind of range as Hecarim can. Wait for it. Finds himself deep into the backline over here. I don't think he needed to do that. Jaboje Money is just going to get completely towered over by combo. He cannot match this. It has to be Sevelin's. That's kind of a bit of the problem. Sevelin can, but then that means he's going to get dragged away from neutrals. Finds the stun on to wait for it, but I can't imagine any fight's going to get dragged under tower. Now permaslowed by the Rylai's. Wait for it. Going to commit to this fight. Getting real close. No shield. Cannot bring it up in time. Sevelin once again ever so tiny microseconds away from being able to just have a winning game. Yeah, Hecarim's E ran out. They can't reach anymore though. But like you can see that like the Hecarim E ran out, so you couldn't push it back. But that's kind of again to the point of they can't reach if the Hecarim finds an angle really far, right? The Ashe can't follow, all that stuff, and nobody else was around. Combo wasn't there, Azir wasn't there to be able to follow that. They can't reach, so they lose a lot of damage if they try to go for these, like, greater than 2,000 unit engages, unless Hecarim can knock them back. The fear doesn't work if Smolder is stunned, so he can't run back into the enemy team. It's just kind of a weird situation, right? And also, wait for it was there to split the fight. I'm pretty sure he got himself into the backline over there and kind of caused them to stop wanting to go for that chase. It's a little tough situation. This is where I think I mentioned earlier that Thula should probably about it. Manny goes for the engage right onto Buffalo Barrage. The Seraphine ult finds DJ Parmesan in the back. Smolder ult coming across, hitting two champions. Azir ulting back Sevelin. Chrono combo into the backline. Finds himself onto Buffalo Barrage, gets the 1-for-1 trade. DJ Parmesan gets a kill back. Jaboje Money gets the reset, tries to do as much damage as he can to Sua. Sua very low. They are now down 3 champions to this, and they're just going to give up this dragon. That's going to be Cloud Soul for Icathia. Yes, I agree. Redemption would be good for Camavor to stay in the fight longer, and I think Redemption also would be really good for Icathia to be able to stay in the fight longer, or to be able to reach the further lines where they can't reach. I think I mentioned that about the Seraphine having it, but Redemption would be really good for Buffalo Barage's side over here. I like the Locket idea. There is a argument to be had though that Redemption is just infinitely better. The resistance is nice on Locket, but Redemption heals for about the same that it shields for. It does 10% max health true damage to enemies. You can use it when you're dead. You can use it at range, so you don't actually need to physically be there. Exactly. Locket, on the other hand, is a decaying shield, so it's not even that great of a shield. And you have to be near them to be able to use it. Buffalo Barrage, trying to get some wards down. On the bottom side of the map, where Dragon was just recently taken. Interesting. But rewarding our interests, make sure that we can kind of safely walk around our jungle here. This is tough. We have Rapid Fire on the Smolder, which is nice, so now he'll be able to kind of poke ahead and get like Qs at range. But I don't know if they have the time to poke, because they have Icathia has a lot of go buttons in the form of Hecarim, holding in the form of Ashe Arrow, followed by Seraphine. I have a really strong go button, so they won't have the time to poke with Smolder Qs, but he has reached this point like 3 fights ago. He's at 295 now, and at this point the stacks are kind of whatever. It just makes the burn a little more. The Fury does need a Serpents at some point, I agree. I kind of don't like this opportunity route that we went for when we're so far behind. I think we just need to... Damage is good when you're behind because you need to be able to just do your damage now, but Serpents acts like damage dealt because of shredding shield in half, right? Finds Duck onto Chrono combo. I don't think he really cares. If anything, I think he wants to get hooked again so that they can pretend this fight. Ashe Arrow going completely wide, doing a little Teemo check through the jungle. And I don't think we're getting that Serpents anytime soon. But you can consider like Serpents in this case as like damage dealt when the shield comes in, right? So it's like that shield reave is probably going to put in more work. Jaboje finds the ult onto that is working, uses the invuln to get away from the 0 ult. Gets caught by the Warwick ult, but now Manny's diving the backline. DJ Parmesan's in a lot of trouble. Combo finds himself into the backline, being able to find DJ Parmesan, and they're just going to completely wipe this fight here. Nice little ult gets clipped by it, gets the mark, and gets chased down by a Chrono combo. I think they're just going to run down the map here. I agree. Serpent should have been instead of the opportunity. Went for the Edge of Night. And well, that might just be the end of the game. And a nice little stat pad. +1 kill, once again. And +1 assist for everybody. No, see, he didn't miss opportunity, he has it. That's where it's wrong. No opportunities were missed. Yep. Oh, Jesus. We're into draft already. Was not ready for this. Yes, no, he was making a pun and I was responding to the pun back as a, yeah. Missed opportunity. Wrong. He actually saw the opportunity and got it. When he shouldn't have. Alright, same band's coming across. Let's see what kind of adjustments we're going to make here in Camavor. I think the score is 0-2, right? Icathia favored. Because I don't have the stream assets and I didn't get around to doing it. I kind of did this last minute thing. Bans are fake. Let's consider again what we're going to do here. So again, same things open. A lot of neutral mages, a lot of good handshake mages. We're going for the Silas early pick. Now we just draft all of the worthless ults. We draft Zoe. We draft, I don't know, Darius. Let's draft something. I don't know. Let's draft all the useless ults. Zoe ain't bad, but I mean, like, if we, like, in the grand scheme of things, right? There's Zoe ult. There's, like, you could have a Leon. You could have a Felios ult. Felios on the early draft. Interesting. What a very aggressive pick. We got the Felios Lulu. Nice. This is a very classic lane. I think 4 years ago. But very strong nonetheless. We're kind of getting baited here. I think there might be talking. It's 0-2. I don't have the here. 2-0. There you go. Yeah, I agree. I think they should have held out on the support pick. I mean, there's a lot of other choices that you can make with the Felios. But in the meantime, we have this. So Aphelios Lulu, I mean, this is like like I said, this is a classic lane. Like I think like four years ago. I can't remember when Aphelios was being a thing. Maybe like 5 years. I'm old now. Sivir in response. Sivir Karma maybe. Sivir something. See, the Sivir pick now becomes really really good because like actually the Silas is also really really smart here. Whether or not this was on purpose, this was really smart because by picking Silas, and if they wanted the Sivir draft. This now they can't do. I mean, they already picked their support, but they can't do Alistar, which would have been a really good pick against this, right? And they already revealed that they can't do Leona, so they're not going to be doing Leona to match this guy. And now we have the Belveth pick. Maybe jungle take here, or we go for like a high priority top lane. Cassante is open. They could do like a blind pick Cassante. It's actually not that bad. I have seen that. I always forget. I forgot in our game that you like do the Blitzcrank thing, and I thought like I lived, and then I saw how much damage the ult did, and I died immediately. Melio ban to keep Sivir away from Melio, I guess. Udyr lock in. Okay, interesting. Like that Cassante ban. I actually think they probably could have taken Cassante here instead. Cassante's a really fine blind here, and you have a strong side lane because combo's pretty familiar with the champion, right? That's like his thing. Now it's banned. I believe Mbessa is out too, right? Yeah, Mbessa was out because of game 1. So Mbessa's out. Nautilus ban is good. Turns into Alawi. think Nautilus would have been a really good ban too, to be honest, because Nautilus with Sivir is pretty nice. Why does the font of this keep changing? What am I doing? Press that. River Shen. That's true. It is 2-0 Icathia. They can have a little bit of fun here, but maybe some of them want to go to bed. I don't know. Rise blind. See, normally this gets picked up here, but I mean, I guess they already picked this, right? But we got the Rise Silas matchup. There's a lot of knowledge on this. What are we missing here? So we're missing support. So Nautilus is still open. That's totally fine. You can do Rakan with this. Gnar pick is good. I think Nautilus would still be a pretty decent pick into this. I don't really know what else you'd probably want. Maybe Leona, just because she can engage kind of far. You have Rakan options, but it's kind of annoying with Lulu because you get polyed and you just like nothing happens. But I guess if the poly gets baited on, oh, Taric. Getting a little frisky there with the Taric pick. Honestly, I'll be honest, I kind of wish it wasn't Taric, though. Because, once again, nothing is guaranteed. Right? There's no, like, easy... Oh, Fiora. Oh, boy. Okay. So we have a Fiora-Gnar matchup. Which I think is... I don't remember my top matchups all that well anymore. I think this is okay on either side. I think this is like a handshaky kind of feel. Like you could mess it up as the Gnar, right? But you always have the range advantage. Rise Silas is kind of a natural thing. This is fine. But this is a lot of damage for bottom lane. And this is a little volatile. Because with nothing being guaranteed from the Taric engage, that can spell trouble to let Aphelios kind of run crazy. Right. Once again, drafted nothing is guaranteed on something that's just going to turn Aphelios into an absolute gun with Lulu. Right. This like I said, this is a bot duo that's been around, or that's been like a tried and true kind of situation of Aphelios, Lulu, Ziri, Lulu. We kind of see the effects of what Lulu does. It just turns your AD into a gun. And a very, very tanky gun. Because Lulu ult is very, very strong. Right? And if there's nothing guaranteed they could do to get to this Aphelios, and he's getting all of this potential feel, Bel'Veth could find himself in trouble. Silas could find himself in trouble. There's not a lot of great ults for him to kind of assist in the whole being sticky against them. I mean, he's got team fight potential, right? Like, he can match Rise TPs because of just taking the Rise ult. It's not super exciting, but it is a thing that can happen. I think you get bird form always, right? For Udyr, you always get the bird form. Yeah. So I guess that might help, because then you can throw, like, the persistent slow on them, which is nice. Or you can do the self knockup over here with the Lulu ult, and depending on, I think, what gun determines what he can do with the Aphelios thing. But there's not a lot of great things that he can do with the Aphelios ult anyway. And then Fiora's Fiora, which is just damage. It's not really going to help with the situation that they have, where they want to try to reach this guy and kill him. But they got speed. So what's nice about Camavor, Sivir ult makes you very, very fast. It's nice. It's really, really good. Really fast. You can help get your Bel'Veth in. You can help your Gnar get in. You can help your Taric position his stuns better, and you can help this guy get in. You're a very, very forward team. The problem, they don't really have range, right? They lack range, which might be okay. Rise isn't exactly like the furthest range mage that you could pick. Like, imagine if this was like an Oriana or
Life is too short for fear.
Victor or something. You're getting poked down. So Rise isn't all that long range of a mage, so it kind of works out in their favor. But if Aphelios has Calibrum, in fact, if Aphelios has Calibrum Crescendum, they could run into some problems trying to get in on this enemy team. So we'll see. They don't have the greatest go buttons either on the Icathia side of your situation. I mean, you can try to do some funny Aphelios Gravitum stuff. Udyr can CC immune himself through whatever nonsense they're gonna try to do. But other than that, nobody else is like able to chase that well. I mean, you have Rise flank options, which is always nice, but that can also become really, really inty depending on what happens. So I think Acathia, this is gonna be another one of those games where I feel like the comps are gonna start to matter less and less and less because something is gonna happen, and one side is just gonna be so unbelievably strong that it's not gonna matter what tools you have to stop what's happening, you know. So we'll see. So now, 3 minute wait. I'm gonna grab a drink because this is a lot. All right, 2 minutes, huh? XD. Who is this Shuriman top laner? That wasn't Nasus in 09. Mana. Shuriman top laner 09 with mana. That's not Shurima, but I'll put it in there. um, yeah, yeah. Not Shurima though. Volibear's Freljord. It's the Shurima part that's getting me. A Shuriman melee top laner that isn't Nasus from 09 is like a combination that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but like that partial Shurima is the part that's getting me. That's why I went with Jax right after. But that's what's getting me. It's like I now don't know. I thought it would have been Jax, but I guess he gets pinged jungle a little bit. Man, I wanted to speedrun that part. I'm cheating. 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 I don't know who this is. Yeah. Also Vandal City. That is.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Uh-oh, Daddy's working might be asleep. Oh, okay. What? Oh. Frames. Something of note.
Minions have spawned.
That is an Ignite Silas. That is an Ignite bottom laner as well. So there's only one TP in this game. Okay. Let's keep that there. Skarner would be a possible guess, but he's not an 09er. I'm telling it's like that combination of things is so specific. There's only so many champions from 09, and it's so impossible. Anyway, Manny finds himself 2 champions that immediately having to burn flash, gets the kill anyway. Seven flashes to the kill as well. That's first blood very early on the Camavor side. Very interesting. That he's working with his snare ability. Only able to slow him down, decides to continue taking this auto trade with J Money, but he needs to be careful because Evelyn just hit 2. Trying to slither on, get that kill. Buffalo Barrage finds the stun onto Cthulhu over here. DJ Parmesan walking forward. This is going to be a flash forward to commit to kill on the Cthulhu here. Buffalo Barrage gets exhausted instead of DJ Parmesan, and there goes the kill on Cthulhu. Ophelia is notoriously weak at his level 1. Makes it really, really hard to fight back. So that's good. Camavor came in swinging hard, and I like this because this is what they need. This is what they need. The boy J Money gets rooted at unders. Howard, Daddy's working, got himself an experience lead now because he was able to scoot into the lane a little bit sooner. Boy J Money focused a lot of his time in helping make sure that Evelyn secures those Raptors on the take. I remember those. He didn't originally have those totems, I don't think. If I remember right. I remember I played Skarner top lane. That's what I did way back when he was released. Good times. Good times. Some trades here in the top lane. Combo hits the W. That's a big attack speed slow for wait for it. Big damage. Combo continues to slide in forward. That he's working. Phase rush proc. Getting a little low here. Silas with so much more sustain. And just enough mana. I can imagine him trying to go for an all-in here in a little bit. Unless he gets poked out a little bit more by these Rise Q bounces. Things are happening. TP back to the top lane for wait for it. Mane continuing this clear. Bottom of the top side. So then gets his first recall. 3 long swords in the pockets. Really nice. Cthulhu finds himself right next to the likes of Buffalo Barrage, but we could not find a stun. Gets a little bit of damage off. Ooh, lots of damage off. Half health gone. Combo. Looking to do some more trades before he finds himself in a recall, I imagine? Maybe we believe in the recall button every once in a while, but maybe not. Bottom lane stabilizing after that 1 kill into his favor. Has himself a call. Walks level too far. Nice little sidestep to get out of the Eric stun, and there's the combo. Sevelin finds himself into the middle lane. Almost kills that. He's working. Has to phase rush out of there. There's so much fighting that I can't like keep up with the direct camera. Combo uses the W again, hits the slow. It's a massive attack speed slow as well, making it really awkward to fight. Wait for it, uses the E to hop away, but gets Mega Farm really, really soon here. I wonder if you should have just committed to staying in if you wanted to do that fight. Especially with Fiora no longer having parry. I have some confidence there. Nice double Q hit on Cthulhu there, just to keep the poke going, but Bone Plating was up to help mitigate a little bit of that damage. Wait for it, in nice health lead position here, thanks to mechanics of Mega Gnar. DJ Parmesan getting outranged by that Calibrum, gets tagged by the Gravitum here, can't find the slow, can't find the skill shot, gets the snare, sidesteps another Buffalo Barrage stun, walks right past him to get the slows on the DJ Parmesan. Cthulhu almost dies, takes the ignite from Buffalo Barrage, but Manny's here to complete the security kill on Buffalo Barrage. Nice little situation. Only Ghost Burn. Wait for it. Hops in, takes the Fiora W. Again, some massive attack speed slow. I imagine that he just kind of gets away from it. Directed camera spoiled it a little bit. Wait for it. Continues the trade. Mega Gnar is coming, and again, because of Mega Gnar mechanics, the amount of health that he's going to get back when he transforms can put Combo into trouble here. Level 6 should be happening to Combo in the middle of this wave, so I can't imagine a dive is going to be happening. But bear that in mind that wait for it's going to have a big chunk of health coming back thanks to that level of level 6 onto Your Boy J Money. Immediately goes in and Daddy's working and wins that trade. Top lane, on the other hand, has a little trade. Combo finds himself also at level 6, gets enough of the vitals in, and before wait for it could actually transform into Mega. I wonder if he had an ability he could have just completely used to complete the transformation and get all the health back that he needed to win that fight. He probably could have just ulted, and that actually should have been his win in that fight. Nice little freeze that Suwa's trying to keep over here, but DJ Parmesan can probably very easily break this freeze. I mean, it's a Sivir. After all, it's very unsafe to be next to your minions against this champion. Very boring. Manny gets himself found into the jungle by Svetlin, and Your Boy J Money gets Udyr ult, provides a slow. Daddy's working in to make sure that he can get Your Boy J Money. Has to flash out. DJ Parmesan finds himself in trouble pushing in without Buffalo Barrage nearby. Has to burn his spell shield to try to keep himself safe. Your Boy J Money still... Wow, how are we still in that position? Your Boy J Money still hanging around after burning flash and being completely out of mana. Gets punished for it. Gets killed by the easy point-and-click Rise Snare. Something guaranteed. Sevelin finds Manny, fights in the jungle. Rise ult coming in to help support Manny. Combo, in the meantime, also fighting. Wait for it. Finds the stun with Gnar is what I assume happened there. DJ Parmesan, no mana, completes to the fight over here in Sua, and there it is. Sua uses the Severum ult, or Severum Q just to get the movement speed to be able to get out of the way, and completely turns the fight. Remember, guys, red, white, no fight. There it is. Red, white, no fight. Red, white Aphelios is so much DPS in a duel situation, and using the Severum movement speed from the Q to get himself out of the Taric stun. And this is what I was talking about just a second ago. Nothing is guaranteed coming from Camavor site. Nothing is guaranteed. And with the Lulu speed up and Lulu manipulation of all this stuff, fight here in the middle lane real quick. Your Boy J Money looking for a very fast trade onto the Daddy's working, takes up a lot of damage. He has to be very careful and keep track of these cooldowns because every single time E is up, W is up, Your Boy J Money's gonna look for those trades. Manny finds himself fighting Sevelin here in the jungle, catches him doing the grubs over here, has to flash out of the situation, presses W, looking for Teemo. Once again, the Udyr ult getting taken by the Silas, only to die. Some miscommunication happening here where one is trying to save the other, but then it turns into one person ending up inting the situation. Wait for it. Probably should just go and collect mid lane wave. There's really nothing else to be done here. They even rotate up bot lane. Buffalo Barrage looking for another stun. Does not find it. Severum Q lets Sua space in and gets his damage in. Wait for it. In a little bit of trouble, but he's just going to hop himself out of there. But that's what I was talking about. There's nothing guaranteed on the Icathia situation. The amount of movement speed that Aphelios can generate. He's got Ghost. He's got Severum Q. He's got Lulu. It's going to be very, very hard for Buffalo to find these stuns unless he commits a flash to it. And at that point, every 5 minutes is when you're useful. It's going to be a little problematic. But we'll see what happens when the Taric ult comes into the later game, because that can become really, really threatening as well. The amount of the 2.5 second time where they just can't take damage can be just enough time for them to dish out the damage that they need to do and become a real threat. Sua now on Calibrum Infernum. Lots of AoE potential, and a lot of burst potential. Buffalo finds himself on a flank situation here. Sua, nice, avoids another one of Buffalo's stuns. Nice flash on top of the 3. Lulu coming in to get the 3-man knockup. Completely turns this fight around. Finally lands the stun on a now dead Sua. J4J Money here to complete the kill. Felioso going a little wide. But that was a nice little attempt. I like the flash in. I like the confidence. Let's flash in. Let's just go ahead and trade it all away. Daddy's Working is now here to find the trade. They turn it onto the Lulu here. Finds the stun. And they get the kill. Daddy's Working is here just to collect the wave. As he also still needs to be kind of careful. There's enough mana on Jaboy over here to be able to kind of redirect the Taric stun. But it looks like they're just going to call it quits and reassign themselves to lanes. Aphelios on the IE first. I'll be honest, I hate it. Like, eventually it'll be good. Because ideally you get, like, crit later on. But as a standalone item, IE on 25% is not a lot. Nice stun under the tower here. Or wait for it. I think he could have committed there. What? If he could have ulted him back into the tower, he should have noticed that Colonel Combo was tanking the tower there, and he could have taken a lot of damage with that flick back over there. He did not have enough time to be able to parry out of it if he just does it immediately. Yeah, he's got a 1 in 4 chance to do damage, which is concerning. I kind of would have preferred Yuntal over this. Maybe Collector, maybe anything to help progress the one item spike, but you know what? He's feeling himself. He's feeling the gamble. Nice! Getting to avoid a Buffalo Barrage stun again. Dragon is actually secured by Sevelin. Caracal coming in to keep himself alive. Still alive. Feliosol coming across with the Calibrum ult was used. Javojamani finds himself deep into the enemy lines. Deep in trouble there. And gets one shot by the Aphelios. Nice stun onto the, wait for it, for parry. Nice. Wait for it with a flash stun onto the Aphelios. Very good find. Parmesan in a lot of trouble. Polly's, spell shields to Polly. Barrier to try to keep himself a little bit longer. Meganar has ended, reducing the amount of stats that Snar has. I can imagine Combo is going to queue over that wall. Rise ult is coming in to try to find and secure and complete this kill. Blar does not have flash. This could still be a tower dive angle. Combo's already looking to swing around to the other side. The push is coming in from Daddy's Working. Buffalo Barrage is here to cover the dive, but parry to cover the stun. Ignite to complete the kill. Daddy's Working is in a lot of trouble. Oh no, the execution error. Speaking of gambling, that tower dive was kind of intense there. As you can see, he got a little bit of health back. Triumph, I presume. That's what happened there. Got a little bit of health there, and then obviously Buffalo's probably healing and shielding them as well, so that's really good. We are in a situation where Sua does not have some favorable guns. Graviton Crescendum is not fun. And then now is going to be dropped back to Sebrum. Pretty nice. I imagine we are going to try to drop that Graviton real soon, because there is a Rift Herald fight probably going to happen here. And we have the Aphelios player herself, Nintendo, now joining in. It's like they just know. People just know when their champions are being picked. Nintendo, I would like your opinion on first item, IE here, for our Sua. He's feeling himself real hard. Maybe a little too crazy on the item buy here. Armageddon mid wave. Gravitum's gonna be dropped. We have Infernum Severum situation coming in. Let's see if we find out. That is E, I believe, is how this gets tracked. I don't actually know how they, like, I think it looks like, I've never actually seen it from Spectator. Anyway, Jaboy Money finds Manny walking around the jungle, just ease over the wall with so much confidence. Manny dies to the Ignite. That's all they saw. They saw him and he just swings over the wall and fights. Eternal Combo trying to fight DJ Parmesan in between the towers, as he does. I still would like to know power damage taken stat against combo, because there it is. He takes himself another one. DJ Parmesan feels confidence now after the third tower shot from combo, but remembers that he is but an 80 carry, and that is a top laner who could not find that vital to heal himself back, so DJ Parmesan succeeds on that kill. Feel gets really low here. Severum ult gets casted over there. Nothing else happening in the mid lane over here. That is working fine. Wait for it. Wait for it. About to go Mega here. Does not find the Taric stun. Infernum is about to run out, and I think... yeah, Calibrum is next again. We have ourselves a range, and Camavor is going to get themselves a nice little Rift Herald here. I can't imagine. Jaboje Money dashes right past Manny. Gets the hook onto Daddy's working. Makes him, maybe puts him a little too deep. Takes a lot of damage on the return. Buffalo Barrage. Ult coming in. Everybody's going to get invuln over here. 2.5 seconds of no damage taken. Daddy's working is in a lot of trouble. Wait for it. Chasing forward. Gets the third hit proc. Does a lot of damage with that passive proc. Gun order is a little awkward. Mana running really low on Sua. They have to kind of restabilize here. They need to be careful of when they're doing these fights. Felios is a strong portion of their damage. They need to make sure they're talking to him and asking, you know, like, playing around when he can come into the fight, if he can even come into the fight anymore. So they have to be careful with like how they're finding these fights in the jungle and such. If their strongest member is not able to participate, they need to kind of consider other angles. Maybe pushing side lanes, maybe finding some avenue to be able to get the Aphelios to recall, get some stuff back. Onto the neutral state of things. Your budget money. Nice little hit there. Oh my goodness. Bone plating was a good take. I'm just saying, that did a lot of damage. Combo looking to engage onto the budget money here. Finds the E, no parry. Can't. Activates the Fiora ult against himself. Jabojima just completely running down Combo over here. Can't even fight back. This is a very, very, very strong Silas. They should be afraid. We did say nothing's guaranteed, but Silas can probably make things guaranteed. And that's going to be another objective tape going for the side of Camavor over here. DJ Parmesan could not complete killing the tower. Nice. Good response by Icathia to send him into the middle lane. Fight for the blue buff over here. Manny has to complete, has to smite to secure the blue buff for himself. Now he's in a lot of trouble. No flash. Gets the chain stun over here. Unable to play the game for a little bit longer. Oh my, the nice CC layering from Camavor over here. Colonel Combo finds himself really deep into the backline. TP, DJ Parmesan gets flashed on. Gets the kill. Is Colonel Combo out? He's trying to get out of there. Nice little knockoff from Sevelin's Q. Gets a little bit of a health reset with his ult. Buffalo Barrage in the middle of 3 people, taking a lot of damage, but just able to heal through with his passive Q. Jaboja Money still looks for more. Gets polymorphed. Maybe a little too much. We have got to stop looking for more. We had enough. Gotta stop looking for more. Especially when you're like so far ahead like this. You gotta be careful. Take your wins, especially if you're ahead. Take your wins and just run with it. Even if it's just like 1 kill. Positional. After some gold leads, you want to look for positional advantages. You want to turn the map state always in your favor. Like how a second ago they were able to very easily take 2 neutrals. And that's good. There's nothing else that they need to do. Taking fights like this, where they find themselves, you know, trying to check them, do as much damage as they can to them, get these kills, get even more gold. But if they end up just kind of giving back gold, then what's really the point, you know? It's true. Once heated, you gotta keep going. And that is why I am eliminated from the tournament. DJ Parmesan now doing the Sivir thing. Pushing forward in the middle lane. A lot of farming back and forth now. We got Infernum, Gravitum situation. I imagine, again, we're going to dump this Gravitum on the upcoming... We got 3 minutes on neutrals. We got some time still. Colonel Combo finds himself on 3 champions over here. Nice parry to get out of the stun. DJ Parmesan committing the ult to be able to chase down Colonel Combo here. And this is what the enabling thing that Sivir does here. These champions that don't have a crazy, like, jump in, go crazy, go button. you just have Sarah do it for you. Give everybody a billion movement speed and they can just run you down. Colonel Combo finds himself just a little too deep in the top lane, which is crazy to say because he was only halfway out of his lane. Your boy J Money now a little bit too far. Daddy's working, trying to find his kill. Zeppelin waiting on the wings, gets the knock up onto Daddy's working. Nice Udyr stun, just slow down the pace. Daddy's working, tries to ult 2 inches to the right, doesn't work out in his favor. Lulu is here. Gets a knock up onto Jaboy J Money. Maddie continuing the engage here. Jaboy J Money should have his W up real soon. Nice poly onto the Silas over here. Sevelin just trying to hold it down right in front of the tower. Q goes a little wide. So now here, they should be able to force this tower. Buffalo Barrage is clearing some wards. Not really allowed to be doing that. Spell immune, CC immune goes right through the stun. DJ Parmesan pushing up mid lane. Combo answering back. Jaboy J Money with roughly 400 HP decides to stay to help no tower. Buffalo Barrage gets the stun off onto Manny. TP coming in, getting pinged by the fresh Meganar. They want this fight. Meganar is fresh. He's got a lot of time on this. Still got halfway. They're trying to get this chase. Good call to back off by Icathia. Other people would have taken that fight. But now they're in a situation. They're a little poked out. Manny's getting really low. Meganar is down. Sevelin flashes forward. Something happens and delays his Q there. Stun cannot be found. Aphelios tries to find Sevelin with the Caliber Molt. Nice choice. Nice choice for the correct button or correct ult to use there to see if it does connect, and that probably could have converted into a kill. I.e. LDR completed for our Aphelios, but they do now have to recall. HPs are good enough for Camavor to probably start this Autocon, but they choose to play it a little safe as Colonel's in the wings. Daddy's working, getting engaged on by Jaboy J Money in the middle. DJ Parmesan finding Colonel Combo, and here comes that Sivir go button again. Combo just a little too far again, and you just can't run away from Sivir. They get themselves their kill. Meganar is used. That will be down for a little bit. They're going to use this time to take that mid lane tower. The Boy of Money just sends it on Sua. Oh my goodness. Sua goes down, but Manny in the back. Massive amount of damage. Gets himself a double kill. Manny also finds the amount of healing and shielding coming from this Lulu. Or, well, himself and then the shielding from the Lulu. Completely turns it around for Manny. This full AP, or almost full AP. This Leandrius Udyr doing a lot of damage. Sevelin is here now, sliding along. Where is the W? Now. Or I think it's E. The button. That one. Gets the knock off into Kakula, gets a little bit of damage off, but they turn it onto Manny anyway. Let's get a little stronger. TP coming in from Colonel Combo. There's so much fighting going on in the past minute here. They find a snare onto Sevelin's. Combo's got a movement speed from the no parry to stop the stun. They are now slowed by Glacial Augment. Ryzel coming in to try to find a correct angle. Gets baited out by the Sevelin. Goes right under his tower over here. This is now. You have a failure. Combo is still looking for more. Combo is still looking for Sevelin over here. Completely gambles that Sevelin was going to go randomly into his jungle. Nice parry. Able to block 2 CCs at the same time. Sevelin's in trouble. Goes down to the Fiora ult. More fighting happening. DJ Parmesan has now spawned and decided, let's keep the fight going. DJ Parmesan going a little bit into the front line over here. Sivir ult gets used. Movement speed is being used. Jaboy J Money chooses not to use the opportunity to stun there. Finds the hook onto the Rise over here. Bounces off of his head to continue the chase over to Delulu. They're now in this forward position. Colonel Combo again walking a little too far forward. Dies to DJ Parmesan. Manny finds himself with, wait for it, over at the blue buff. It has been a minute and a half of straight fighting. Are we done? Are we going for Dragon? We're going for Dragon. There's a lot of things that didn't get used there. And also got used twice, actually. The Sivir ult got used twice in the span of all of that. No, my throat is not okay. I am tired. Dragon secured once again by Camavor. That puts him at soul point. They're walking towards this Autocon. I'm scared. Please don't hit it. Fantastic, they're recalling. Yeah, that would have been a huge Infernum ult. It would have been so juicy. It would have crit too. He's got 50%. I don't think he had the zeal. If he did, that would have been 65%. It would have been so good. Gambling. Oh, Jesus. Okay, we're right on to Autocon. I did not... They canceled that recall. This Parmesan is still missing HP. They canceled the recall and they decided, let's just do Autocon. Sir, you are talking to an AD main. It is 65%. Because This is 15, 50, 50. Says it right there. That's true, even without the crit, because there was a lot of, yeah. No, you're right. It's... But imagine how juicy with the crit, right? You do the 65% check and you just... Anyway, combo right here. For sure, given the bottom lane. Way far out. Does not have TP. DJ Parmesan choosing to rotate to this. Your boy Jimani takes it. Nice parry. Your ult is activated. DJ Parmesan right here in the wings. Cardinal combo takes so much damage. He's not nearly as tanky. Forgot he's not Mundo. He's Fiora now. Behind Fiora at that. So you do not have that kind of damage. Gotta be careful. We got Baron take happening on the Camavor side of things. They are a little outnumbered. Nice to call himself to the fall back. DJ Parmesan in a really awkward situation. Nice spell shield to avoid the Udyr stun. Walking forward. No Sivir ult. Don't really have the go button over here. While Javoy just continues to split push on the side. Manny looks for Javoy. This could be a really bad fight. We have Fiora ult on this Silas. Maybe he'll turn it around. Activates the ult. There it is. 1 passive, 2 passive, 3 passive, and you're just dead. And just like that, you're gone. It's not exactly the tankiest Udyr either. He's got a lot of health, not a lot of MR. And health, funny enough, Fiora ult does that. Yep, that's true. Season 14, by the way. That's Camavor taking Baron. They have gotten every single objective except for Grubs. So we got that going for us. Joboy Money having to flash out combo, and Daddy's looking to chase him down. We do have Flash on the rise if he really wants to commit to this. And now that J Money does not have any means of flashing, we have the Rise ult to cut him off. In a really bad situation. W to slow him down. Not enough. Nice avoidance on the E. Though maybe it doesn't really matter. Somehow Combo still died to that. He just does so much damage. Sua coming in, red-white, time to fight. Sua's trying to do as much damage as he can. Nice little knock-up. Big Severum ult to heal himself back up. Q is not enough. There's the invuln to wait off the amount of damage. Cthulhu's in big trouble now. No stun connect, but we do get the auto attacks from our nice little Manta Ray. And that looks like it's going to be the nice flash. Gets still get caught by the knockup by Sevelin. More stat padding. Well, I wouldn't really call it stat padding. Let's see if this is a stat pad. Combo has spawned. And he's... nothing happens. Cool. Okay. We're moving along. We're moving along. There is a game 4. We're not out yet. Is this the reverse sweep? Is this the start of the sweep? I like the adjustment though. Camavor, as we saw in the early game, just sent it. Just constantly sent it. And I like that. They needed that aggression because, like I said, team comp-wise, there's a lot of like similarities that could happen. But just being able to have the ability to just completely send it, maybe it doesn't matter anymore because you're just so strong. Aphelios has so much level of complexity with like maintaining gun order, because you also, as the Aphelios player, kind of need to, and I'm sure you know this, but you got to remember that like other people somehow to this day still don't know what this champion does to any capacity. So even if you are trying to fix your gun order and stuff, some people might not get that concept and be able to play around like the Aphelios to completely adjust. No, I'm flaming like 90% of the league population. 2019 champion, by the way. This champion is very old. And yet we're still fighting on red-white. But being able to like talk to your teammates and tell them like, hey, this is not a good combo for me. Let's do. Or like, let me fix up my thing. I need like 20. I need a wave so that I can fix this, whatever needs to happen. So it gets a little awkward there. On to the next game right away. Game 4. Same bans. Bans are fake. This is where they did not switch sides. Is that right? they did not switch sides. This is where I think Cassante early might be the move. If they believe in themselves. I think Cassante early might be a good move here. Put combo on something comfortable. Very, very tanky front line. Garen pick. I don't think combo cares. I think he's picking Cassante into this anyway. If he were to choose Seth. I think the Cassante early here is good. I'm thinking Cassante and then maybe a really good jungler. It's unfortunate that like this doesn't get played. Xin Zhao, Wukong, J4, like these are all super good early rotation junglers. That like, oh, are doing a Zaya Rakan this early in the draft? This is surely a Rakan, right? Because if this is Zaya Rakan, you can do Kate Karma here. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, okay, I like this. The Wukong pick early. I like this. Now we probably... So, the likelihood that this is Rakan shoots down a little bit. Because usually you kind of want the Rakan pick a little bit sooner. But if this is going to be Rakan, then you can do Nautilus. Here. You can do Alistar. But we have the Jhin pick. And Jhin likes mages, right? Jhin really likes mages. So Jhin Karma is an option. Jhin Not is still really good, right? You've got Jhin. I mean, you can try to do Alistar, but like this guy is kind of annoying for Alistar. Let's see what they're gonna pick. But I think support here is fine. Lilia. Okay, so we're doing the Lilia situation. Jhin Bard is also really cool. That's true. I do like the... Okay. So we've chosen Darius. So we're banning Rakan. Ideally. Right? We're banning Rakan. We're probably banning Nautilus. Mid lanes, there's a lot of mid lanes open. That I don't know if they play or anything like that. But they have mid lane options. You got Talia, you've got... Yeah, I like the Nautilus, man. Because then that gets rid of this, and Nautilus is cool against Rakan, right? But then we do Rakan ban here. Melio, okay. I think that's like a targeted thing, because I don't really like Melio Zaya all that much. Leona ban is good, because that gets rid of the two options right there for them to do the thing. But like now, this is definitely looking like a Rakan Soraka ban. So you do Rakan here. You got rid of these two. Then Braum doesn't look good. Because it's Jhin, right? It's not the worst, but like Zaya would prefer to have people that like helps lock down things to set up her feathers in a like lane situation. Because like if you're kiting out, oh Nico, see like okay, so like that kind of like helps, right? Yeah, exactly. She wants set up for feathers, right? So she wants these two, for example. Like these are really good. Yeah, these are really good with her because it's gonna help her set up their support or her feathers to be able to do her thing. I mean, like Nico's not the end of the world because kind of does the same thing here. Nah, Maokai. This is Jhin. Oh my goodness, that was fast. Okay, so this is a lot of jungle control. These two are a lot of jungle control. With the children and the nukes. That's a lot of jungle control here. So if they get ahead, even so slightly, neutrals are going to be so good for Camavor. Ari on the last pick to answer the Teemo mid. Sure. Yeah, Teemo mid. But this is still a lot of jungle control. Regardless of where this Teemo's going, this is a lot of jungle control. So if Camavor gets themselves a little bit ahead here, they could have... They're in a position to like really take over neutral objectives. They can probably be there first really easily. You got Jin traps, you've got Children of the Forest, you've got Shrooms, and then obviously Garen is in every bush, right? Never face check Garen bush. So there's so much control over the jungle for Camavor that if Lilia can get like any of these guys ahead, it's gonna be super good. Icathia does want to play picks for objective. Exactly. Because they need those number advantages. If they don't have those number advantages, they're going to be in trouble trying to get in. Exactly. Exactly. They're going to have so much trouble walking in with this. So they want to find charm picks. They want to find like cheeky Nico snares. Xayah can try to one-shot something. Xayah could just one-shot, but they don't have the greatest champions to walk in with, right? Wukong doesn't do that great at walking in. He wants to be able to find like flank angles and stuff. He doesn't want to be like directly in front, if that makes sense. He wants like kind of awkward off angles so that he can find himself into the backline. And then Darius also obviously is like a very run forward kind of. This would have been fun if there was a Sivir here, because then just send, you know. But we have Xayah, and Xayah likes front to back, and Xayah likes people fighting towards her. She wants that to make the feathers thing a lot easier. And then Ahri, obviously nice on the side lanes and split pushing on the side. But I mean, this is tricky. This comp is very tricky. This feels... If the game pattern has been let's fight and let's fight, then let's fight again, Icathia's team comp will make that really difficult. Again, all of this can change. We're just like randomly getting ahead and stuff like that, you know, misplaced and stuff, obviously. But this is going to be really difficult for them to want to do that. Like, let's keep fighting, let's keep fighting, let's keep fighting, let's keep fighting. Because if the tempo ever slows down, even just like a microsecond, then you have so much random things on the floor to fight through that it's going to get really annoying to want to fight forward against this team. You're getting hit by Shroom, then you're snared, then you're bowling balled, then you're asleep, then the swords of the heavens drops on your head. What can you do? You got Maokai ult to kick you out of any neutrals, or even just keep you out of any neutrals. These guys have to be so creative on their neutral fights. And like what Nintendo said, they have to find a pick somehow with these two. Somehow, some way. Before anything happens. Like about a minute before anything happens. Exactly. Yeah, and you can use Nico to like run into things and help clear it out. But you can only do that so many times, you know? Like you can only do that so many times against traps, against saplings, against shrooms that like... And if you're doing that to do that, then like you're kind of losing the surprise factor of Nico. You're kind of losing the movement speed of your W. I have heard of the Nico W, man. I've also seen Keria do the I'm not even gonna send in the clone, I'm gonna send myself in, stand there, and then ult in. Okay? I'm just saying. But I'm looking at these names and I don't see the words Keria on this team. Just saying. I see Cthulhu. Starts with a K, pretty close. So maybe we'll see something cool. That wolf tech that carried is... That guy is... He makes support seem so much more fun than it is. Cthulhu could be better than Keria. We could see it right here, right now. They both start with a K. It's crazy. Coincidence, some might say. But all of that is to say that, yeah, like you can use the Nico clone, right? You can't really use the Wukong clone, not in the same idea that you're thinking of at least, because it doesn't move. So when you spawn the clone to try to dodge the Maokai sapling, it'll still jump onto you anyway, if it's the enhanced version, right? It's still gonna jump to you in your regular form, then you just get the Shimmer, then people see you coming, and you're slowed. So it's not great. Wukong can use the clone, though, to block the Maokai snare, which is nice. But that inherently involves him having to W backwards, right? That inherently makes him jump backwards to do the thing. I don't know if the Rakan idea would have fixed anything to give them that like engage that they're gonna need, because like Rakan is nice with Wukong. You can kind of walk around the map together and you just slap everybody up, right? So I don't know if that would have fixed anything with the situation of like the Maokai draft, and especially the Teemo draft. But we'll see. I mean, if this, since this is Teemo mid, probably you have the situation where like Ari will always have push, and then these two should probably look plays on side to get themselves stronger. Rakan is nice to lock down the Lilia, and it works well. I mean, like Rakan likes things like this guy to be able to like dash forward in. Doesn't mind Ari either, because Ari can be a conduit for him, and then you use the Xayah to hit your extended E, so you can dash back out of the situation into safety. You could even bait it too. Like if the Maokai tries to snare you, you might even be able to bait the Maokai to go in a little too deep in the fight if like you dash back to your Xayah over here as Rakan. But this guy now becomes out of position. So there were ideas, right? But that doesn't matter now, because what we have is the draft that we have. Which is still like at least something, right? Like this could have fallen into the trap of like you could have fallen into the trap of picking some like enchanter or whatever. Like you might have picked like this could have been like Karma Xayah or something, or like Karma Sona, Karma Janna, or not Karma Janna, Xayah Janna, and like you don't have the setup. Yeah, no, I don't hate the idea of the Jin Maokai, because like it's the same idea, right? Of like conceptually as like the Nautilus, you like nice little hold down. Jin gets the W. You're just getting absolutely blasted from a distance. You're slowed forever. It's really good. It's who is this guy? Who is a partial Shuriman 09er? That's a top lane melee. Who is this? It's not Jax. Anyway, game time. It can't. Skarner is Ishtal now. They've updated this guy. It's Reckern. It is partial Ishtal though. So it's a furry.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So it is a furry. Oh, I want to do it, but we have Sevelin right here. Unaware of the 4 champions that are waiting. 5 champions really waiting for him to step out to try to go ward. This could be real cinema real fast. Sevelin does not fall for it. Hits the Q on Manny over here. Manny commits to the fight. Ghost used by Colonel Combo. That is not an E-Star Darius. It is an E-Star Darius. We have yoinked Sevelin, and now absolutely nothing's happened. Okay. Alright. That is an E-Star Darius mid lane. Okay. So that's gonna be fun. 09 though is the thing. It's 09. And Rengar's not 09er. This is what's like getting me. It's a top lane melee mana 09. That's part Shurima, part Ishtal. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be a really difficult lane for Combo. He had to E-start, takes half of his health, starts the fight, ignites, gets the Q out. Nice bone plating. Oh my gosh, he's burning, and that's Ignite, or that's Ghost. No TP on that Darius. That damage is sticking. He is also D-Blade. This damage is sticking. Okay, and there's also something to keep in mind. There is no TPs on this side of the map. And we have one. Fight in the bottom lane here. Nice, Sua gets a little snare onto DJ Parmesan over here. No other comments be made there. Flash E attempt by Colonel Combo just falls a little bit too short. Wait for it, gets to live. No flash needed either to avoid that gank. That's incredible. D-Blade into Teemo is a decision. E-start into Teemo, also a decision. I get it, it was for the invade, but like, we're getting a little too hyphy on Icathia. Maybe we're having a little too much fun. Blinded, gets the outer Q, nice. Waits for the blinds to wear off, gets the auto W reset. E coming in, Teemo's in trouble. Gets a solo kill anyway in the short lane against Teemo, who still has flash up. You know, anything can happen in these kinds of tournaments, and that's a lot of fun to watch. Triple J Money getting some poke out of the Ahri. Sevelin going for the invade here, bottom lane, here to assist them. Manny decides to clone in. Nice snare, flashes out, stays alive. Triumph, keep himself a little bit alive. DJ Parmesan flashes forward just to get the kill. Recall not getting any feathers to hit Parmesan at all. Gets to just walk away from this. Sua continuing forward. Conqueror is procced, another Q goes through. Parmesan gets snared by Cthulhu. Cthulhu secures to kill. Triple J Money in trouble on the top side. Flash, auto attack, not enough. Just the second auto attack, just enough. Buffalo Barrage now in a little bit of trouble. Colonel Combo recalls right in front of him, trying to bait him to get a little bit closer. I can imagine he's going to try to hit him with a Q here, and Combo's going to yoink him with the E. Gets the E auto W reset, outer Q auto, and that's not enough. But that did force the flash out of Buffalo Barrage. Mouth fight. I want to commit to this. Well done. I did not know he was Ishtal Shurima. Honestly, I didn't really know where Malphite was. Manny, gank onto the middle lane here. Gets the blinded. No additional damage coming out thanks to the blind. Permanently pushing Ahri onto the Garen, which kind of makes sense. Got ourselves a serrated Dirk. Nice little bounce onto Sua with that grenade. We got ourselves a nice little Dirk on our Jhin here. Cthulhu has an Hextech Alternator. That is a fed Nico right here. That is a very, very fed Nico. Gets caught by the snare, knocked back into the Jhin snare. Cthulhu gets the snare right back onto DJ Parmesan. Sua flashes in to get the feather recall to do as much damage as it can. But now in a really awkward situation, however, has to kite back, gets the point and click snare with Buffalo Barrage. Feathers are down, but I can't imagine that he's going to live any longer here. Sevelin picks up the kill. I do like, by the way, that they finally decided to make something a little bit more guaranteed out of their engages. They have a point and click snare now. To like really be able to like look for these forced plays, which is what they've lacked in the past like 4 games. Or past 3 games, rather. Burst sweep incoming. We were feeling it. But I mean, they are down right now. But it is just the early game on lanes that are in a position to win lane. Here and here, I suppose. But let's see. I guess Xayah Nico isn't really like winning. It's good. Nice little poke. Electrocute proc. Good little bounce again on Sua. Just a little bits of poke with this like dancing grenade by the Jhin. Teemo just gets to finish the recall off, and Combo made an attempt to yoink him out of it. I guess in a sense I could kind of technically do this, since nobody has like official roles, right? I could technically do this. Gonna be more accurate. Sevelin trying to invade. Colonel Combo senses it out, checks on the red buff here. He's gonna chase off Sevelin. He is level 6. Sevelin has to be really, really careful here. Because Manny is now here. He gets the pull onto Sevelin. Sevelin secures the red buff, flashes out. Nice. The bowling ball hits 2. Puts the sleep down. Looks to do a combo. Only hits combo here. Daddy working on the edge of his mana. Sevelin gets himself killed. I don't really know if we needed to go for that, but we decided to. I respect it. Buffalo Barrage sending in his children to be really, really annoying. Tags Cthulhu a little bit. Cthulhu hits Buffalo Barrage. Nice! Little snare onto Sua. W to avoid the snare from the Maokai. Nice Feather Recall to complete the kill on Buffalo Barrage. DJ Parmesan in a lot of trouble here. Fourth shot, not enough. Has to reload his gun, and Sua gets to complete the kill there. Nice. Triumph is awesome. Manny also here on the top side of the map finds a shroom and a pink ward for his liking. Bot lane's on a recall, and they are very, very strong. This is a very, very strong Xayah, looking towards the Yuntal route of build. Yuntal with Triumph, by the way, so that's gonna be fun. Hopefully he's careful with his mana, as he will be lacking a lot of that without the Essence Reaver route, which is fine. But it is a lot more damage to go this route. Manny just walks in, smites and flashes out, says, "Have a nice day," but then decides to walk back in anyway. Gets ignited by the Teemo, takes so much damage. The Shimmer, oh my goodness, and Sevelin gets the final Void Grub there. Sua is here to try to give them the assistance. Wait for it, takes the damage from the Darius ult, ticks down with the bleed for the secure. Sua is now here in the bottom lane. However, bottom lane is now just going to be losing a lot of minions. No TPs on the side of Icathia, so that's just going to be a wave that's going to be lost. Which, in the small things... Oh, Daddy's working, goes for the all-in, flies in for the charm, gets the damage onto Sevelin. Sevelin's taking so much damage, he's just dead. He gets himself one more charge of ult, but I can't imagine he's going to be able to get out of here. Jabojamani uses the ult a little bit early with the Ignite. Might be able to still catch him. Flashes used, no more charges for the Ahri ult. And Jabojamani uses the flash just to really confirm the kill. Finds a snare onto Cthulhu over here. Cthulhu re-engages with a flash ult to secure the stun onto DJ Parmesan. DJ Parmesan gets himself killed. Sua trying to set up as many feathers as he can. Does he have E? No, not yet. Getting the auto attacks off as much as he can. One more QE, maybe? Buffalo Barrage should probably just walk away from this. That tower plating is going to go towards Sua. For sure. Maybe 2. Completes the minion kills. Goes for the second plating. But see, here's the death guards coming in. Right? Jhin is going to be here. Now they're going to be in a position to push it back. What's nice is there's not really any neutrals yet for them to be concerned about this, but Sua does need to look for trying to do this recall a little bit sooner than later, as they are going to have the opportunity and priority here in the bottom side to try to get set up for this upcoming tries. Never mind, Sua is going to stay. Cthulhu, as a minion, finds a snare. The cheeky snare onto Parmesan. We gotta count those minions. Remember, guys, you can press tab, and if you see that the Nico does not have the question mark, that means she is on the map somewhere. Colonel Combo going for the all-in. Pops the ghost. Gets the outer Q. Fit stack cannot be achieved because of the blind. Flashes in. Could not find the outer Q. No fit stack. Stacks have now dropped off. Blinded once again. Burned down by the red buff and poison. Just small little misplay from twice, unfortunately. Blinded on the last few autos. Could not find the outer Q on 2 attempts. And sadly, that just means he dies for it. I do like the attempt on the kill there. Yeah, while I'm the op for the stream, I would like no conversations about Gen G, please. Thank you. No, we can mention all the other players. We are no mentioning anybody on that roster. Boy Money is really trying to freeze his minions in a way that, like, maybe he can get the minions, but instead he just took a bunch of damage and got 1 of 3. Oh man, Piglet is the throwback name. The 100-acre bot lane. Good times. Piglet and Pooh Man do. Colonel combo and the pushing in the bottom lane. And they got themselves here into the Dragon Pit. So they can. Your boy J Money just taking what he can farm-wise. It's really good. I hope he has second wind. I don't think there's a way to tell what runes are. Nice, he does. Okay. More damage coming down. DJ Parmesan finds a snare onto Colonel Combo here. Opens up his ult right in front of his face. Gets as many damage in. Oh, and Colonel Combo just stays inside all 4 shots, and there he goes. Imagine they had the 100-acre bot lane, and then they also had Bang and Wolf in that team, huh? T1. The T1 rosters are so funny. More trades in the bottom lane here. Okay, let's see. They have made no attempts to change any lane assignments whatsoever. They wanted to keep this Ahri, Garen, and then Darius Teemo matchup, which is honestly really interesting. I would imagine you would want to just kind of man up and try to do the Darius Garen matchup instead of having the Darius try to deal with Teemo in short lane. But I guess because it is short lane, it's really not that big of a deal. Wow, what a snare by Cthulhu. And then what a snare back by DJ Parmesan. This tower is probably going to go down here relatively soon. Asua making an attempt to get the snare off. There is a Nico in the form of a cannon. Surely they realize this isn't the cannon wave. Buffalo Barrage goes for the engage anyway. Cthulhu looks for the ultimate. Only finds Buffalo Barrage. Luckily he got snared up before he could go into DJ Parmesan. Buffalo Barrage continuing firing forward. There's the Feather Barrage by Sua just to get away from more problems. And gets to secure on the kill with the Feather Recall. Manny on the top lane, engaging onto your boy J Money. A lot of damage coming out, getting him really, really low here. But they are now running out of juice. One more chance, or one more dodge, or charge for that. He's working. Doesn't find the charm, but it doesn't matter. He gets the kill anyway. Cthulhu in a little bit of danger, getting chased by Teemo. Bowling Ball will not find Cthulhu. Nice snare on wait for it, and that should keep her safe. Looks like we're going for...
Blue team's turret.
Let's see what we got going on here. We are going for our LDR a little early on. Not bad. Kind of. I don't think this needed to be so early. I think we can look for other damage items because a lot of the targets that you are going to be hitting are really, really squishy. Maokai is not that squishy either, or like not that tanky either anyway. Yeah. Or at least not to the point that you need to commit to something like this, at least in my opinion. Garen is naturally tanky, but he himself, items-wise, doesn't get a lot of tankiness early on, so we could probably go for like a better value second item here, but at the end of the day, it's fine. I agree. Like, IE second would be really good. Ignite being used on Sua, he's totally fine. Flash, Q into the sleep. Sevelin should be able to get this kill really easily. There it is, the W. Guaranteed sweet spot. Nice snare by Cthulhu to try to see what she can get back. She is continuing this fight forward, but there's nobody behind her. Sevelin walks away. Colonel Combo having to deal with the bottom laner here in the mid lane. Playing as safe as he can, getting poked out a little bit, but overall okay for a little bit. Dragon is coming up in a minute 8. So that's going to be interesting. I do think they need to start... I do think Camavor needs to start thinking about their composition here and start taking advantage of the fact that they can take control of the jungle really, really easily. But I am not seeing... Enough over here, I thought. So this is their vision right now, and there's a severe lack of shrooms and a severe lack of children being thrown in the jungle here. I think we should start looking for that. At these timers, 30 seconds left, we should be recalling just a little bit sooner in that case. On the Teemo and on the Maokai, that way we're on the map a little bit sooner so we can start putting down this advantageous thing that we have with all these traps. There needs to be more. It should be that Icathia is the one that's having to fight their way into the jungle, not the other way around. Not that they can't do it, but it should really be the other way around with a team composition like this. Teemo's still stuck here, farming in the side lane. Colonel Combo also farming in the getting the side lane pushed out over here. They have an uneven map right now. Rift Herald being used in the middle lane to probably do nothing. OJ Money matches the combo push. They're going to use this to shatter mid lane. And one of the shrooms. That's pretty nice. Manny is now in the middle already. Gets snared by the by Maokai. Really good engage there. Cthulhu finding one. Buffalo Barrage goes down immediately. Nice blocking by Sua for a little bit. Thunder Barrage is being used. That is working. Ults in. Charms lands on Sevelin. Sua trying to fight forward. That is working. Flashes forward. Gets one more charge of her ult out. Q could not find the Q return. Flashes out by DJ Parmesan. Sua, a little bit of a forward position. Bowling Ball finds Cthulhu, a little bit slowed. Mark is on her. Parmesan should have a snare soon. Misses the snare. Health bars are low for Daddy's working and DJ Parmesan. So they should be able to reset back to neutral, but Cthulhu is just healthy enough and probably has enough wards. Has one pink ward to be able to put down and try to regain vision. But they should have Maokai and Teemo coming into this jungle together, putting down their traps. That way they can get their vision ready to go and be in this advantageous position that the team comp should be allowing them to have in these neutral objectives. Down goes the bowling ball, hits the clone. It's good confirmation. Here they go. 4-man holding hands, 5-man holding hands into the jungle. Immediately starts the dragon. Buffalo Barrage throwing down his vision, looking for, trying to track people. Zaya in the back. Colonel Combo really far from this fight. That should just be a free dragon for Camavor. And they just walk away. This is going to be kind of the problem that they have with one less TP. Colonel Combo gets completely caught out. But, oh my goodness, the Q heal is so high. He feels himself walking forward, flashing forward to get the last auto attack on Buffalo Barrage. Gets the kill. Now empowered by his passive. Looks to continue walking forward. Sua tries to find a snare attempt on to wait for it. Does not find it. Gets tagged by the bowling ball. Slows down any further approach if you so wanted to. Is tagged. Can be Jin W'd in a second here. If they had any additional follow-up. But it's pretty good. Now the Lilia Jin thing is also really good at like catching people from really, really far away. You land somebody on a max range bowling ball. Get the sleep on. Guarantee the W. Guarantee the Jin snare. There's a lot of like combos that they have going on here. Camavor side of the equation. Sua is incredibly strong. They need to play around this 2-item AD that they have going on here. Kite back with her, you know? Like, slow down the play, make them engage. Slow down the play with Wukong. Slow down the play, make them run into the Ahri. Kite them out. And then when they put themselves in a bad position and we can have enough feathers down, then you look to re-engage with the Nico or something. You can also create like a giant zone with the Nico anyway. With your ult. It's very threatening. Boots feet did go to Icathia here. It's going to give them nice little stat boosts should they start upgrading all of their boots over here. All of them, most of them in 2-item situations. So where they can start doing that. That's good. Otacon, next objective. They're trying to get their visions down. Jaboji Money is looking to push top lane, generate some pressure, trying to hit this tower right here. While his team just focuses on pressuring Otacon. It's really hard for them to get in. Look at the traps. Look at the traps over here. Got all of this room that they're creating, but we're getting caught anyway by feathers. And Sua just gets to walk away. 1 HP. Daddy's working also really low. Has 3 more charges of her ult. More traps are on the floor. They have to be really, really careful. They can take a lot of damage here. They managed to get hit by another shroom. Daddy's working getting really low. Re-engage coming in by the Parmesan. In the front line that Cthulhu looks to re-engage back. Buffalo Barrage goes down. Sevelin into the back line. Finds Ahri. Now having to deal with Wukong, getting a lot of regen from her passive. Buffalo Barrage right in the background to support Sevelin here. Manny re-engages. finds himself in trouble. Dot is burnt, ticking, not enough damage. Suwa finds Buffalo Barrage, just barely. Manny barely living. Otacon doing a lot of damage in the background right now on the full reset, but they have to deal with the scare and getting the push. That was a really good call. Fight could have been a little bit cleaner, but I do like that they decided to try to kind of keep them there in Otacon just a little bit long enough so that they could get those towers. Now they have 2 towers and an open inhibitor on the other side of the map against Otacon, which is the next primary objective. Baron is still 230. Dragon is next at 130. They have a lot of time to allow this top lane to become a big concern the entire way through, as they have Otacon and Dragon on the bottom side of the map opposite of the open inhibitor. This Garen can actually just continue to path top, really scare them off, maybe get the minions up to about this point right here and then start walking down. It would be nice if Camavor could also find a way to knock down at least one of these towers, that way his path back down is a little bit shorter. But, you know, beggars can be choosers. Since this is a flashless team, or sorry, since this is a TP-less team, they have to look for kind of like those ideas. Traps are being set again. This is what we were talking about in the draft. They have this. They can put more here now that they have the positional advantage. This is going to get really tough to walk into. They're going to look for it. They're going to try to catch Buffalo Barrage here. He could be in a lot of trouble. Jin Snare to wait off the pressure. Daddy's working, still wanting to walk forward on this. Unafraid of any potential shrooms that could have been in that position. Daddy's working stepped on a shroom there and takes 20% of his health. More Teemo shrooms around the Otacon. I don't like too much how badly he's concentrating his shrooms there. It'd be nicer to get them out for positional advantage and information, but it is what it is. Proto Combo Pops goes to try to get a pick here off of your boy J Money, but I can't imagine this turns into anything. Your boy J Money should be able to just walk away. 4 stacks on, cannot find a way to get the 5th to get the bonus AD, and they are starting Otacon. Maokai ult uses sever them away. This is the problem. They cannot get in. They're first to these. Suwa's in the front line. Manny has to block for Suwa. Walking through so many shrooms. Cthulhu is trying to scramble, look for the engager. Suwa goes down. That's a lot of their gold. Jabojimon just spinning around. Oh, a double kill for DJ Parmesan. Daddy's working already at 200 HP, and he barely was even in the fight. DJ Parmesan gets the kill. And this is what happened. This team composition is so obnoxious to try to get in on against. And we see it right there. They got the Otacon. Icathia tried to scramble for something, walked on about 5 shrooms, and lost all of their health and shroom damage. They needed something. Now, this was drafted really late, which I like. It's a very intelligent draft at the very, very end of this to grab this guy. Because they saw that they did not have good ways to deal with it. It'd be a different story if there was maybe like it'd be a different story if there was a Mundo, or if there was an Ornn, or if there was just something that could soak up these traps without having to commit complicated things like Nico clones to be able to get rid of the traps. Camavor wants to be about a minute ahead of the timing of whatever neutral they're in. And on the flip side, Icathia wants to be about a minute 30 ahead. But that's a long time. Like, Icathia has to commit into the jungle first for way, way longer than Camavor has to. And that's an important thing to keep in mind, because if this Garen keeps the split push pressure going and nobody can answer it correctly, then they can't do that. I need to be in this jungle sooner. Icathia, that is. So they have to find some way to be able to do your boy J Money here, and the way that they're going to do is they're going to send both their solo laners on it. Daddy's working, is activating his ult to begin the chase. 4th stack, 5th stack comes through. The boy J Money's ult is not enough to finish off Colonel Combo, but Colonel Combo's ult is just enough. They're starting the Baron. TP coming in from Daddy's working just to keep them off of it. Buffalo Barrage, they find the Wukong getting hit by a shroom over here. Jin opens up his ult, tries to find whatever damage he can find on these full health champions. Cthulhu's in a lot of danger. Nico taking a lot of damage. Nice Maokai snare onto the Ahri. She is in so much trouble. That Ari is going to go down. Sua in between two right now, between Sevelin and DJ Parmesan. Does what she can. Nice attempt on the flash, or feather recall, but it's just not enough. They can't get a clean fight where these members are walking forward so that they're against feathers, but that's because they don't have to. They don't ever have to fight them forward. They can just keep waiting around neutrals, hit it, bait them into positions where they have to walk through all these shrooms, all these traps, and it's just so obnoxious to play against. Mentals have to be strong here. I agree. That is the downside of drafting Xayah early. Generally, when it comes to drafts like that, at least in the Xayah Rakan pair idea, not that they went for it, but in the Xayah Rakan pair idea, Rakan is the more important of the two, Xayah being a complement to it. Holding onto dear life for that last tower there, but finally goes down. That opens up the map even more. So now with that tower being gone, that same idea now where they can play on the opposite side is really, really good, because Garen can now push really far if he wanted to, and he has shorter routes that he can take to wherever he wants to go to meet his team if he needs to. That bounce went to suit. My grenades don't do that. DJ's grenades are simply better than mine. My grenades never do that. That is incredible. Opening up on Sui here, just trying to slow him down, puts him in a lot of danger. Buffalo Mirage tries to go for the flash snare. Cthulhu from a minion coming out to the sun. Finds Sevelin under tower, takes so much damage. Nice double knockup to secure the kill onto Sevelin over there. Buffalo Mirage also ended up becoming a little too deep because of the chase onto Sua, and they get themselves a kill. This is the pick that they need. The problem, they have 50 seconds on this. Not so much a problem, but they have 50 seconds on this, so if they need to do their recalls, they need to do it now. Or they don't do it at all. Now they can set themselves up and position themselves on top of this dragon now. They might not have the health bars for it though, and that's kind of the problem. But they need to be here now, because these recalls are going to happen. They're going to lose numbers, and they can try to bulldoze it again with these guys and get those traps in. Jerboy Money onto the flank, finds Cthulhu, brings down Kale Sword right to Killer, gets the snare onto Manny. One more silence and now they're dead. This could also be the case of they're just a little too far behind now. Which is crazy to say only on a 3k difference, but when you consider how strong these guys are at the neutral position, 3k is a lot. Turtle combo does not find an outer Q. I see 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stacks. Could not find another outer Q. Finally gets the 5th stack, but it's a little too late. Those outer Qs are extremely important. That he's working against the Trimoff. Still bleeding from the Darius build. Oh, he's gonna bait him around through mushrooms. Takes 1 mushroom and loses all of her health. And Jerboy Money stays alive with like 78 HP. That's insane. From that silence, 1 mushroom and being able to spin on him. Man, what is this champion? 0 defensives, by the way. He has health and is alive from that nonsense. They're gonna maintain the push here onto the bottom. They have a lot of position. Dragon's already been taken care of, so they don't need to worry about that. That's 3 stacks of Chemtech, so that's 18% tenacity on everybody involved. With no tenacity boots, they're like incredibly close, except for the one, obviously. They have almost half, a little bit over half of the tenacity of Merc Treads as a free stat. Kind of incredible. And the amount of healing too is no slouch for the healing and shield power for the individuals here for their healing. Getting that 4th stack puts them at 24%, which is almost very, very, very close to the value of Merc Treads worth of tenacity on everybody who didn't buy any tenacity. Which makes this whole, like, which makes the stun from her feel really short if it's not the enhanced version, and the charm can be easily shrugged off by these frontliners that they have. Forward pushing through, getting rid of the vision plants, which is really, really unfortunate that Icathia can't take advantage of those vision plants to help try and clear out these shrooms, or at the very least be aware of where they are. Bounces are happening. Imagine that was a carry a moment. Manny finds the engage onto Sevelin over here. Sevelin has his Zhonya's out, probably calling for help. Maokai only coming across. Finds a route onto, completely saving Sevelin. DJ Parmesan in trouble though. Ghost is popped to make sure that he can secure the kill. Jaboy J Money deep into the backline, gets the ult, does not complete the kill on Daddy's working. Jaboy J Money now in a little bit of trouble. Colonel Combo is dashing in. Sua finds one shroom into the jungle, unable to join the fight as quickly. Jaboy J Money still on his way out. Blast Cone away. Colonel's ult does not finish the kill, but just enough still to do the damage to secure the kill onto 3. Now they have 3 down on Camavor for none. This is an opportunity for Icathia to regain control of this jungle, as they are doing now. Sweepers are bought. This is really, really good. They have 4 sweepers on this team. They all need to hold hands, sweeper down together, and be at these jungle camps super early. Now they can just sit here and wait, or they can do it themselves. They have good timers on these champions. This guy does not have TP. He can't get there quick enough. They're going to start the Baron. Get themselves into a position to finally be able to get their first real neutral. Because these were fake from the early game. Nice. Baron secured. They have 2 Drakes. Soul Point is here for Camavor's favor, but they can very easily get themselves into Soul Point here with how much positional advantage that they have just generated from the little throw there. But they have a minute 30 onto Chemtech Drake. With Baron Enhancement, they are able to finally get themselves into priority kind of situation, as long as they don't get randomly caught by a bowling ball into a Jin W. Okay. The Camavor maintaining their heads, still keeping the same idea of getting these traps down, getting the children's down. All of that is still being used to their advantage. Buffalo Barrage needs to be careful walking up to this bush like that. Cardinal Combo gets blasted cone over to the other side. Cthulhu only finds 1. Manny trying to go a little bit too deep, taking so much damage from the shrooms. Jin ult opens up. Sevelin finds the kill in the backline against Cthulhu. Timo secures the kill onto the Wukong. Sevelin in Zhonya's on top of 3. DJ Parmesan getting as much damage as he can out. Feathers fly, comes out. The team fight is going really good. They didn't have any feathers set up, and Jaboy J-Man still wasn't here. He is now arriving at the fight. This Zaya does not have ult. An attempt to use the Mercurial Sword to get out. Does not find it. He still does have ult, so this is still a really threatening Garen. I hope that they call this out, because Ari needs to be very, very careful walking up to this Garen. This is... He doesn't have Flash. Stridebreaker is going to come off cooldown, but I think with just Stridebreaker and his Q, he should be able to stand on top of Ari, as she still does not have ult. He has to be very careful walking up to this wave. Takes the free tower and moves on. Having more space to be able to do their stuff. It's going to be really, really good for Camavor. Is he starting that dragon? Direct the camera, go. What a demon. He started the dragon and walked away. But this did buy time for Icathia to be able to re-enter the jungle, clear out these shrooms again, clear out the vision. Has to do this every single time. Very annoying, very frustrating. But here comes Camavor, holding hands. They're gonna set down their traps. Now they have positional advantage here. Icathia. They have to be a little careful. Coming in to try to get this vision in. Jin ult gets opened up just for vision and to kick them out of the position there. Holding it to make sure that he can still see them. Sua steps on the trap, is caught completely onto the side on his own. Jaboy J-Man is trying to open up on Daddy's working, completely kills her from half HP. The Maokai Snare finds Nico in the background, uses Zhonya's to find himself into safety. Manny's looking to complete the kill onto Jaboy J-Money here. Snare cannot be found, but the Nico Snare finds Jaboy J-Money and they get to complete the kill on there. Now they're completely pivoting over to the top side of the map. I like this. They don't need to commit to the fight. It's hard to chase enough as it is. Now they're gonna clean up, go to the top side of the map, put shrooms down there, make that top side of the map very difficult to enter. Next objective is going to be this Baron Asher at 230. Get the vision now, make it really hard for them to enter their own jungle. That was an unfortunate kind of positioning situation. Sua completely isolated on the side. Jaboy J Money recognizing to just jump on the Ari's head, the silence. Even through the charm, he's still just right on top of her. Gets the full duration, he kills her from half health with the soul, which is an insane value. Could not even use all 3 of her charges in time to get out of that situation. Cthulhu gets caught by a Maokai snare at the very end of it, as well, forcing her Zhonya's to just keep herself safe. Wage Money a little forward in the jungle here, but we are talking about a Garen, so he can do as he please. It's like Mundo Light. We're positioning ourselves towards the bottom side of the map. There's nothing really to do down here, however. I don't like that Sevlin is like looking to position himself to take position on this half of the map because there's nothing to do here. We can completely abandon this entire jungle and pretend that that's not even there as long as we have perfect control here. So we don't need to be swinging down under to do this kind of flank. Just keep your lines here. They're trying to make an engage attempt on wait for it. Nice flash out to make sure it's safe. Colonel combo ghosting right in deep into the front line. Finds 2 with his hook. DJ Parmesan included in this. 3 sacks, 4 sacks. Kula into the back line. Finds 2. Buffalo Barrage and Sevlin in trouble from the Nico ult. Wait. And Icathia just found a fight. Icathia found a fight without having to actually go through the jungle. What a mistake. They need to just hide behind this stuff. I like the process though. I like the progress. I like that they just decided to snap through it because that's what they need to be having done. Addy's working is a little bit of trouble, but Javoid Money may have found that kill, but I don't know if he can hold on to this push any longer. Maokai and Teemo coming up. Still in 30 seconds. This is a long death timer and not a lot of health on him. Man, he looks pretty engaged. The Unbelievers. What an unfortunate situation. What a crazy ending. And that's the end. They're your winners. Wow. In just a moment, we get a flash ghost situation from Colonel Combo. Finds the backline. No Teemo shrooms were set up on that side of the jungle, so it was a great, perfect time, like perfect angle to fight, as there was nothing left on that side of the map for them to even defend on. And they won. And in a great re-engage too. It didn't really show all that well, but it was kind of split in the map. And you could see it in the corner. Nico hitting 2 champions, Sevlin and Buffalo Barrage. Could have even been 3. Because I didn't quite exactly see where Garen was during that fight, but you got the Nico hitting 2 very important champions there, Sevlin and stuff. And yes, they both just are stuck there. They have so much CC in the ways of the Ari, the Nico, the Wukong aside. There's so much lockdown for like the champions that even though as fast as Lilia is and as as many shrooms as you can set up for this, like if they don't even end up fighting in the shrooms, then nothing really happens. Teemo becomes kind of a little bit of a dead weight in that sense because a lot of his power budget is in those shroom ideas. And blind, who cares about blind when this is all ability based damage, right? Even to some degree, Xayah can be considered ability based damage because even if you're blinded, you're still throwing your feathers. The feathers are still going to be on the floor, and when you do the recall, blind doesn't care about that, right? So, well done. That was an unfortunate throw, but you know what? That is 3-1. Final score. And I really thought we were gonna go to game 5. I guess if anybody wants to pop in, they can. Otherwise, I think that's it. Well, alrighty. I hope everybody had fun. That was good. Absolutely scuffed setup from me because I barely threw this together. But there were still good games in spite of it like being a 3-1. There's a lot of fun, especially in that one moment where there was like straight fighting for about a minute and a half straight. That was pretty cool. A lot of fist fighting, and that's a lot more exciting than you know. This could have been 3-3-5, then instead of 33, 37, 55, right? So that's always fun to see. Um, anyway, that was good. That was fun. I guess I will sign out of here. Hope everybody has a good night and good luck in your games. Anybody else in the future? Goodbye.